Hey all, J-Man here. I just want to tell you about beardedshirts.com. It's a great place to get a lot of cool superhero shirts and other merchandise. You can scroll, they've always got sales on. As you can see, they've got these really cool print all over shirts, which I really love. That's Eddie, the founder of the site. And if you're looking for stuff, all you got to do is you click on the search here and you can type in all over. And that's going to show you the all over prints, which are really, really cool. Look at that. You got Legion of Superheroes, you got Brave and the Bold, you got JSA, you got Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, all kinds of stuff. So check out beardedshirts.com. Hello, Legionnaires. Welcome to a random open mic talk. We're going to talk a little bit about Dune 2, and then I've got a few people who are going to come on and give their thoughts. We're going to open it up to the public. Haven't done one of these in a while. My room is in massive disarray because I'm going through my comics, just getting them arranged, rebagging and boarding some of these suckers, and getting rid of a bunch. I got almost one full long box and probably a short box of comics I'm going to be selling. Just because they're lame and I'm ashamed that I bought them. Most of it's DC Future State and House of X stuff. So shame on me, I know. But anyway, before we get down to the nitty gritty, let's talk about tomorrow. The Legion live stream. I've read the first two issues. I'm just on the third. Oh boy, we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow night with Sean and Clobby talking about the Legion of Superheroes. So that's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night. And then Thursday, Sean and I are back talking some Transformers. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of episodes. We're doing 12 episodes of Generation 1 Transformers Season 2. This crop is pretty awesome. There's probably like at least 8 of the episodes are pretty solid in this group. So you for sure want to be there Thursday. I'm really excited. I've got a couple more episodes and then I've seen all of the ones we're going to watch for this block, but it's a really good block coming up on Thursday. Friday, of course, is Frank Miller's Daredevil run, Fearless Fridays. I have not read these yet. So, I have the omnibus of them, but I haven't reread them since 100 years ago. So I don't remember exactly what's going on. That'll be a lot of fun on Friday. And before we get going, let's say hello and thank you to our Legionnaires. These are the channel members. So Dan, who signed up right away. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Sean, Stephen, Clobby, you won't see Sean tonight. He didn't like this movie and he's so upset he just can't talk about it. No, that's not. No, he's just not coming on. But Stephen and Clobby are here. Brennan, who you have seen sometimes, Picasso, and Cliff on Comics and RR have been in the chat a lot, so you'll see them. And Cliff has been on when we talk about Dazzler. So I'll be doing another Dazzler stream in March. So we'll get to that. Okay, so that's everybody. Let's start bringing in. The Fremen. I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Howdy-ho.
A Fremen?
I don't know. We'll bring in one more, and then we've got a few more people coming. They're just going to be a little bit late, so people will be coming in and out as we go through the stream. So I'll bring in our fancy Fremen.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Oh, fancy that. Hey. What's up? Hey, Steve.
Hey, Clobby.
Hey, Steven. What's up, man?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Good to see you, sir. Good to see
Always
you.
Good to see you, Clobby. Always happy when you're on.
Back at you, buddy. And our buddy Tim out there.
Oh.
Tim's there and Septic Stream's there. So cool.
Yep. So we got FK.
What's wrong with Sean? He's too good to hang out with us.
I know. I don't like him anymore. Skeptic. What's going on? Skeptic. I'll put a link up after.
I have a feeling why Sean didn't show up.
No. It's a legit reason.
I don't know.
Oh, it's not so. You're saying it might not be a legit reason.
No, it's a legit reason. This was impromptu. I just said, let's do it because we usually do an open mic for these bigger movies. This is geeky enough. It's a comic book movie. It's a geeky thing.
Everybody's yakking about this thing.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely let everybody, get out of the way quick and let some of these people want to talk, because I don't have much to say about it, to be honest with you. Go ahead.
Well, I think we have a good representation right now. There's going to be some more people coming in the next 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
So I don't know how I read the first 4 books. Yeah. Oh my God. Did you? That is it.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, Sean is
It is
at
Sunday.
his mother's.
It is Sunday. I mean, hey.
That is so funny.
There
He
you
was
go.
kind of a
Well
jerk.
done.
That's not Bruce Campbell. Skeptic. I bet you were a jerk, and Bruce Campbell.
I
Wow.
have met Bruce Campbell.
Wow.
He was not a jerk.
Or he's just joking and being a jerk. That's the other thing.
He sticks a lot.
Yeah,
He's a fun-loving guy, and he kids around with people. But
yeah, he might nudge you, and it seems like he's being. Somebody had said that John Barrowman was being a jerk to. Are you ready for this? This is impossible. This is literally impossible. That John Barrowman was being a jerk to a person in a wheelchair. That is a disgusting. There's no way. There's no way. Oh my gosh.
How is that possible?
from what I hear, he gets too touchy-feely with some people that don't like it because he's kind of obnoxious about that kind of stuff. But
so you think that was?
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea about in this case, but I'm saying I've heard people say that about him. Like he'll walk up to a dude, whether you want him or not, he'll go kiss you in the mouth.
No, that's not true. He asks you.
I know. Well, yeah, but
he asks you.
Look, fine, I didn't meet him.
Yeah.
I've seen him in person before, but I'm saying things that you and I couldn't get away with doing to a woman, of course.
Correct. But no, I've been to Steve and I met him, my wife and I, and photo ops. He asks. It literally says you can ask him, and he says, "Do you want?" It's called anything. Do you want anything goes, or do you want just normal? And my wife and I said just normal, and that was it. He hugged us, and we moved, and that was it. Yeah.
Fine.
All right.
Like I say, because I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, I love John Barrowman. Okay, let's bring him. We have someone waiting in the back. Let's bring him in. He's waiting. He's got his gear ready.
What's up?
Hey.
Thanks for inviting me, man.
Yeah, for sure. So I was okay. So let's go with, because I think Bill I was trying to figure out our not order, but so I read the first 4 books only,
Yes.
and I have seen everything else, all of the movies, the miniseries. I own it all. I got the soundtrack. I've got a lot of the toys. I think I have I have all the regular figures of all the characters from the Dune movie toy line. I have the worm. I don't have any of the vehicles. Read the first
whoa! Stop! Did you just say you have a worm?
I have a worm.
Where did you get a worm,
dude? I got it at. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it. This is crazy, and I've got it right behind the Dazzler thing. I've got it. You know what? I'll upload. I took a picture of some of my stuff earlier. I'll upload it. I was at a toy show. You won't be able to see it from here. It's in the closet. I was at a toy show and I was rummaging through a box of $5 toys.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh, is this $5? Yep, thanks."
The worm.
Sean was there.
How big?
Sean was like, it's not huge. It's not.
Is it for the little 3.75?
Yeah, it's from the original series.
It's from the original. Right? Yeah, no, they're not
original
3. They're not 3 3/4. They're I'd say they're maybe 4.5 inches tall. They're not
4.5 inches tall. So okay, so the figures of that, and then the worm is oh my god, I would still want this.
The 80s figures.
That is amazing.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
For the 85 movie, right?
Yep, those figures. Yeah, I'll email myself and I've got Raban in the packaging actually. Hey, Mark is here. What's going on, man? Mark.
Hey.
Well, it won't be praised by myself. That's for sure.
Legion of Comics. What's up, buddy?
Hey, let me send it to myself.
Oh my god, that is amazing! I literally thought to myself when these 4 figures came out, I thought for the recent movie, I thought to myself maybe I should buy them just in hopes that they would actually make a worm, but they never make a worm. All I gotta do, I just gotta get 1,000 pounds of Play-Doh and make my own sandworm.
Right.
That's clearly what I gotta do. Oh, man.
So I emailed
we
myself
didn't
the
get to see the
picture.
damn worms in the new movies. So that's another thing.
Sandworm figure.
I could get like
let
an
me see.
albino boa or ball python, and then just like CGI the head.
Where the hell is the? Oh well, okay. This is the packaging of it. I can show you what the packaging looked like. Hold on. Present share screen. I don't have it in the packaging, mind you.
That's fine.
Um,
I'm
that-
not a
this is it.
collector. I just want the toys. That is so sick. Oh my
There
god!
you go.
I can't
There
believe
you
they
go.
made this.
This is it. Yeah, this is it.
Yes, for the 84.
85
Yeah, that's
movie,
it.
that's right.
That's the
right.
one right there.
Oh my god, that is so sick.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, I don't have the starter car, but I've got everyone here. I've got everyone else.
Okay.
I
What
didn't
about
know they
the
made a
lid?
starter
It
car.
looks really
Sort of-
small for these things,
Yeah,
but wow.
still.
Okay. So I have everyone except for the starter car troop.
And you need like 6 of those anyway.
Yeah. So I've got two fades.
Andy Masterson, what's up, bud?
Hey Andy. Oh, you got one scale, yeah, or fail, yeah, 1/6, yeah. So yeah, wow. So I didn't realize I actually do have every character except for the starter car. Everyone else I own all these. I have something like 4 or 5 Baron Harkonnens, and they did a bigger Baron that was on a stand of him kind of floating up using those things to like
The anti-grav thing, because he
the
can't walk on
anti-grav
his
things,
own.
yeah. Because he's yeah. So I've got that was from I want to say that's McFarlane. Baron Harkonnen, maybe it was McFarlane.
Who? Those back
Who did-
then?
Who
There
did the
was no
toy?
McFarlane back then.
No, it was a new one.
Oh, the newer ones are the McFarlane toys. Yes.
Oh God, why is this like?
Yeah, they're
not-
7 inches. Typical.
No, but it's not even that new. Hey, Scribe Light.
Red light.
It
Baron
came for the
Harkonnen
first
figure.
Dune movie.
Let's see. No, not this one. Not this one. No. I mean, I have this one, but that's not it. Where is it?
Well, that fade.
Oh, this is it. This one.
Yeah, the Beast Raban right there. Oh,
No, this is what I have.
oh,
Who made this figure?
oh, wow.
Oh, no telling. Sort of NECA or somebody like that.
Yeah, it's like
serious?
NECA or something.
Toy Whiz.
Toy Whiz.
Some of those boutique toy thingies.
Yeah, so I've got
Damn.
this one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Looks like NECA. Yeah, so it's like Toy Whiz, something like that. So that I've got that one. I don't have any of the new ones. So there you go. Those are the ones I have. They're in like a different. And I've got some of the read along books. You know, you put the tape
Yeah.
in or the thing. I've got some of those. So that's my Dune. I only read the first 4 books. I started book 5 and it was a little hard to complete. Bill, have you read the 6 Herberts or no?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah. Plus the
thought-
2 afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what are your? So I gave this movie a 5 out of 10. It's like it's okay.
I didn't see the second movie yet.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
the first movie originally I gave it like a 6 or a 7, and then I rewatched. So I actually watched it. So Stephen and I and Sean and Owen from Action Elite saw it a week ago at the fan screening or something like that.
Come on. Nice.
Fan, what was it called again? What was it?
Yeah, it's a fan
Fan
screening.
premiere, something
We got
fan
nothing
premiere.
for.
No. They gave out posters. We didn't take a
Oh.
poster.
I think they
Same
call it
thing.
early access for people who don't want to invite Professor Bill.
Well, Professor Bill,
That's
when I
it.
pre-ordered the tickets and they sold out 2 seconds after that.
Huh?
Yeah, there's no invite or not invite. I'm going to, hey, here I think this is sold out too. I didn't even think about this, but I'm going to go to next Saturday. I'm going to Heroes World to meet Iman Vellani is going to be there. I don't know if you care about Ms. Marvel, but whatever. She's gonna be
Who?
there. Exactly. That's what I thought. I didn't think anyone would care
Miss
about me.
Marvel. We wouldn't meet her for.
Yeah, well, because she wrote, she's
a
signing
real
copies of
fan.
the comic.
I really like her. I think she's a real fan.
Yeah.
I think that she
Fan
could
of a
be
shitty
like the
comic?
future of the MCU.
Yeah. No, she wrote the latest Ms. Marvel comic.
Which is a shitty character, so she's a fan of a shitty character. But
No, I like the Ms. Marvel character.
don't give me that. Listen, I have not authorized you to like such a character. So
Authorized. Remember Beverly Hills? Remember Beverly Hills Cop? Where they'd be like, authorize.
Yeah,
It's like, I need
authorize
authorization. Should they authorize it? So
I'm
the
sure
first,
she's a lovely, sweet.
well, she's Canadian. We got to support the Canadians. We got Ryan Reynolds, who's one of our boys.
Geez.
We got to support our Canadians. So
Gosselin is also Canadian, right?
I like him.
Gosling,
Yeah, so they're the two Ryans. There's no other
The
Ryan.
two Ryans.
Yeah.
There's two Ryans. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, so I watched the first movie. It was a weird time. I can't remember what the time it was, but I watched the first movie, and then I went right to Dune 2. There's maybe like, with travel time or whatever, there's like maybe like an hour gap, because it takes forever for the movie to start. So I immediately went to go see it. So, and Sean did that as well. Steve, did you do that, or did you?
The same, yeah.
So we all did the same thing. We all kind of watched it and then went. I was barely keeping awake during the first movie. And I have it on 4K, so there's no excuse. I got 4K surround sound, 60-inch TV. Like, it was pretty good. And and my wife's like, "How are you going to stay this awake?" I'm like, "Well, Sean's going to sit next to me. Sean's going to nudge me awake." Hey, Cap. Hey, Comic Cap.
Hey.
So
Just
I don't
bring
know.
some entropy injectors with you. Oh, I'm good.
I feel like, I'll say this quick and then I'll let everybody else go. I feel like if you took both movies and put them together, they're about like, what, 5.5 hours, let's say. I really think it could have been 2.5 hours with the same things that they did, because they sucked out so much of the interplay. They sucked out like a lot of the Harkonnen stuff. They sucked out so much from the Dune books that what was left is not enough for a 5-hour movie. If I feel like they dragged out stuff that didn't need to be dragged. It's like, oh, I'm the chosen one. Oh, I don't believe you are, but I am. Or there's no movie. So why is this going on? Like, and if Chani doesn't believe, it's like the scene is like, I don't believe I'm the chosen one. I don't believe you're the chosen one either.
That wasn't from the books.
It's not from the books. And I'm like, so why do we have this scene? If you both don't believe, then there's nothing to discuss. Like, what are we discussing? It's like, move on to the next scene. Hey, James.
What was Liet Kynes?
Yes.
Is actually supposed to be a Fedaykin male in the books. But because of SJW stuff, we have to do inclusive. They decide to ruin this individual story and make it I don't care if it's black or white, that doesn't bother me, but they made it a female instead.
Which character is this?
From the
Fade.
first
Liet Kynes is the head scientist on Arrakis.
In the first one, Clobby, she was the one who was the guide for them, right? And she was and she gets eaten by a worm. Yeah.
So they ruined that, as far as I'm concerned, in so many ways. And here's why. They ruined it because this is supposed to be Chani's father, right? This is the actual leader of all of the CHs, right? Mm-hmm. None of the other ones will act without Liet Kynes speaking first. And Liet purposely went into the den of the devil, the Harkonnen, where eventually the Atreides family came down, right?
Yeah.
But goes in there and he's dealing directly with Vladimir Harkonnen and the Baron and all these different, the Beast Raban. He's dealing with all of these psychopathic murderers.
Yes.
And he's the head of everything so that he can have the inside scoop. On top of that, he also has the ear of the Sardaukar Empire. So he can directly, like he's never been to planet Carino, but like he could go directly to the true emperor himself, and be like, "Hey, this is what's going on." But he realizes that these two are in cahoots, and they're going to be and all these, and he knows all this stuff in advance, right? So he was like the man, and technically it could have been a woman, but the problem is it was a man,
right?
And this man was dealing with so much in his mind from his father. The way that Liet Kynes actually died in the book was walking away, being excommunicated with a broken still suit, walking through the desert to try and get back to any CH.
Right.
So that he could actually find water and survive. And instead he winds up walking into this area and he winds up getting eaten by a sandworm. In the movie, they decide to make it a female who doesn't know anything, but at the same time knows everything, ruins the entire story. And I could get into the details of the devil, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say how this absolutely ruined any future book being told here. Because do you remember how she died? She decided, I'm going to take all of these. Was it Harkonnens or Sardaukar that came after her? I think it was the Sardaukar.
I literally don't remember because they didn't have distinct looking cool costumes where you're like, this is this faction, this is that faction.
Exactly. It was bland.
Pounded the ground to get a sandworm to come.
Right.
That's how powerful she was. She pounded the ground in the movie to get the sandworm to come. Now in the book, it was just he was walking through and got eaten by a sandworm. It's like, this is what's going to happen. Like, gets sucked in and dies by Shai-Hulud, says the prayer one last time, which made it this amazing thing. And it was just wow. And dealing with all the crap of the father. So you get more of a history of Dune. Here's why that scene in the movie sucked, because in the third book, do you remember the thing where you get to see how powerful Liet II is? What do you call it? One of the two, with the male twin of
male twin, yeah.
He's standing in the desert, no still suit, nothing. Walks out. His father's back there, blind, can't see with the prophecies anymore. A little bit of spoilers for the next book.
Yeah.
Walks out there and says, I'm going to summon a sandworm, father, and starts stomping with one foot.
Right.
And the sandworm rises and comes to him and obeys him.
Right.
Amazing.
That's why I like the fourth book, dude.
And instead, she has the power to, with her hand, summon a sandworm. And it's like, dude, F your SJW agendas. F all of your stupid nonsense you're doing. That's why I say, you know what? This movie can kiss my butt. I only found out this movie was coming to the movie theaters a couple days ago. And I sat here thinking to myself, nah, if Jay invites me to see the movie, I'll see the movie. Other than that, as much as my wife likes the movie, as much as my kids like the movie, that movie can kiss my butt.
And I want to address something with Mark here. But Mark, they changed Chani's character. Look, there shouldn't be a divide between them. Chani got ruined beyond everything in this series. Look, she wants to save her people, right? The way to save her people is to get the Harkonnens out of here. The Emperor's in on it too. Everyone is trying to use Arrakis. The only good people, and this was not in the first movie. It was, but they didn't make a deal out of it. Leto is the only one who cares. This was the thing. When he went down and that spice thing was going down and they're like, the worm's coming. He's like, okay, get your people out of here. This is in the first movie. He's like, get your people out of here. And they're like, oh no, we're going to keep mining and try to save the spice. He's like, he actually says, I think in the movie he says, forget the spice. We got to get out of here. And Liet Kynes is like, holy shit. I've been dealing, as you said, Bill, with all these trash people. This guy actually cares about people. Maybe we can deal with this guy. And the whole point is desert power. You got to get the Fremen on your team, which means you need to get Liet Kynes on your team. Hold on, let's bring in, I don't have an intro for you, but I'm just going to bring you in. Steve, what's going on, man?
Hey, Steve.
Hey, two Steves.
Hey,
we got,
Steve.
so I'll do Steve. We'll do Steve. We're gonna have to do Steve, and you guys both are follically challenged
and visually challenged.
Oh yeah, we got Mark back here too. We got Legion back here. Okay, so and Mark, this is what I was just addressing your comment. So because Chani, she wants to save her people, right? So the Fremen need to have someone who they can trust. Liet Kynes would trust Leto because of his actions in trying to save the spice. This is not in the movie. It's in the movie, but it's not said or made clear. In this movie, Chani's against it, doesn't believe it. But the problem is that when he marries Irulan, obviously it's for political purposes. This happens in everything. All Game of Thrones, all this is how it goes. And instead, in the movie, they're like, well, we need to have her do more. So she doubts this and then leaves. It's like, yeah, but now you're not saving your people, because to save your people, you have to sacrifice a little bit of your integrity to allow Paul to marry this person. He loves you. You're the only person he really loves. You love each other. But if you stay and support him, you will help the Fremen in the long run, because that's who needs to get in there. You
just
need
for some context. Where do all y'all,
this
just
book?
for some context, where do all y'all stand on the David Lynch film?
Sorry,
except
just
for
really
the
quick.
ending. Yep.
Did this movie, Dune 2, end the first book?
Yes.
Yes. So
Okay.
Chani doesn't go with him. Chani leaves and says, I don't want you to marry. Like, basically, she doesn't say it, but like he's marrying Irulan. So she gets upset and then leaves. And she doesn't believe. Yeah, it's poopy.
So
like, just have like, I don't know.
It's so
like,
dumb.
It's
because
dumb.
the whole purpose was this is exactly what Lady Jessica had to deal with.
Right.
And she understood how important it was. By marrying a duke, I understand, or by being with a duke, I understand that he needs that marriage slot open to potentially marry someone else for political purposes.
And Chani and Jessica bonded.
Yeah,
this was their bonding to be together. Be like, okay, we're the same. I had to do my part. You have to, and it sucks. And even Leto says in the first week, I should have married you, and he should have, but that's not his thing. And it's only to give Zendaya a more of a role. Like, you destroyed that entire relationship with them. And then the problem is that retroactively, as you're watching this movie, you're like, well, why are they even having these conversations? Who cares? Like, it's not going to amount to anything. And it's like, if he it's like, he is the chosen one. When he gets power, he has power. It's like, she's like, I don't know. It's like, well, I have powers now. Do you believe me now? Like, I understand that he doubted himself until he drank the worm piss or whatever. And then he became the Kwisatz Haderach. And now he's got the water. Yeah, I know. I'm just calling.
It was worm puke. It was worm puke.
It's in this movie. It's worm puke.
So you're just like I understand pointing out the differences between the book and the movie, but you're at the point now where I feel like you're just like ignoring all the context that the movie adds to all these things.
But it didn't add anything.
Well, it did. I mean, I could sit here and give you perfect examples, like the whole like just the whole Chani and him thing. Just the reluctant Messiah. He doesn't believe it. He's aware that the Jesuits embedded this mythos as a form of population control. So you have to put in context what Denny's even trying to do. He's trying to adapt the unadaptable that countless filmmakers have said this is an unadaptable project to do faith to it. So he's not even attempting to. He's trying to find a way to tell the story with the core essence of it. Like we don't even have the guild in here. You know what I mean? Like,
right? How can you make this without the guild?
Easily, they just did
5 hours.
They don't even need. Like, they just proved that you don't need them. I'm not saying that. Like, if you love the book and it's great in there, that's fine. But he just proved that you don't need it.
No, you do. What? Okay, Mark, explain to someone who's never read the book, what does the spice do? Why should I care about the spice?
That's what I was going to ask.
The opening scene of Doom 2, they explained that's how you travel through space. Literally the opening dialogue of Doom 1. I mean,
it's like the opening,
it's just like
1
the David
second.
Lynch film. The opening dialogue, they give you a scroll and you don't have to read it. They tell you.
Yeah, but you see the Spacing Guild do it. You see the guy go out in space and do it. That's pretty cool. That stayed with me.
You're like, they even did it in the miniseries.
But I'm saying, like, they proved that. Like, I think that just knowing how odd like the general public can be and how hard it is to get people to get into hard sci-fi. Like, imagine introducing them coming up. They didn't show them teleport through space. They told us that they can do it. He held back on showing us, probably because he has intentions of introducing the guild. You know what I mean? Like, that's a weird turn.
Dude,
I mean,
it's 5 hours.
Just getting. Just getting to it. Like, the context that you're ignoring. You're just look.
No, I'm not ignoring anything. This is pretend depth.
No, it's not.
Like, we're talking.
I doubt it. Didn't include that. No, hold on. Let me bring up the example. Like,
okay.
The whole thing with Chani and Paul. I get the angle they're trying to do with that. Zendaya's a big star. Timothy Chalamet's a heartthrob. How are you going to do this? Well, Denny's a long format director, visual storyteller. They literally got away with all the internal dialogue, which is heavy in the book. It's heavy in the David Lynch film. They got rid of all of it because they have a good visual storyteller that you don't need them telling you what they're thinking because you can see it. Now, when it comes to like Paul as the reluctant Messiah, that was the whole theme of this chapter.
That's fine. What about Chani? Why does she, if she doesn't believe, what's the point of the scene? I don't believe.
The point of the scene is it's called character growth. Like,
there wasn't growth.
There was. Look at Paul in the opening of the movie. Look at Paul in the close of the movie. Look at that insane character growth. Like, it is
there's
insane.
No growth.
Did Lady Jessica believe?
Yes.
Lady Jessica not only believes, but she's playing chess while everyone else is playing chess.
She was the only one who didn't believe.
No, I mean, like,
she's the only one who didn't believe.
Like, she doesn't believe in like the prophecy that they embedded. She's still trying to make the perfect human, and she's driven by obviously like this is her son. She's driven by that fact. This is my son. I can manipulate these people. I can embed these stories. I can do this. She believes in her capability, not in some supernatural like extra thing. I mean, she already has the voice. She knows what like that kind of stuff in there, but she doesn't. She's just driven by the love of her son.
I'll say this, and then I'll let the two Stevens and Clobby. I'll say this. Okay. There wasn't, okay, I know you're saying there's growth, but there wasn't growth. He doubted himself until he drank the water, and then he believed. That's not growth. That's a realization after one scene. Growth is throughout the entire film. You see little bits where he starts to be like, hey, I'm figuring things out. Yes, I can do things. Maybe I am the guy.
Drink the water anyway if he didn't believe.
They whatever. It's a thing.
They're ignoring so much of the film. Like think of like the first half of the movie is the training with the Fremen to become Fremen, and as he's going through that process, he's seeing like that's one thing that they introduced in this that I don't think was in the book was like the fundamentalists, the Deep South, like where you have like hard believers, and you actually have a faction of the Fremen that are basically atheists. You know what I mean? You have believers and atheists in this movie. So they like I don't know if that was in the book. I didn't see that portrayed in any of the other films. So I think they added that.
There was a degree of it.
Yeah, so they added that, and they attached Chani to the non-believers. As if you look at it, is like the older you are, the heavier your beliefs are. The younger people are just naturally skeptic, and that's where Chani is. And they leave Chani. Chani remained constant through it, while Paul completely ascended into this. Like,
because he is the chosen one and has powers. So okay, let's go. So let's Steven on top. What did you? I know we talked about it. Let everybody know what your thoughts are. I know James. No, James, stop it.
We're just going Disney. We can't keep using Disney as a.
Yeah, James is my buddy from work, dude. We're gonna talk privately. I'm gonna help you out.
So, I haven't read the books. I saw the first movie. I said, yeah, it was cool. I liked it. I rewatched it. I almost fell asleep twice, but whatever. Just before I saw the second film. I'm not going to get into like the whole, hey, this makes sense. This is because I don't have that background. I can just tell you what I feel as opposed to any contextual thing. What I felt was there was two components that I needed to do to really like this movie. One is to be on Paul's side, or is to care about Paul. And two is to care about the relationship between Paul and Chani, or Chani character. Yeah. I didn't do either. I don't care about Paul. I felt he was basically Michael Corleone in a sci-fi thing where he's basically, he doesn't want to admit his destiny. Then at the end he admits his destiny, and he basically, freezes out the woman he loves to do the right thing, or to do the thing he thinks is right. To become the godfather of Arrakis. Cool. I don't care. I didn't care about Paul. He was about as interesting as a dish towel. That was it. As far as the Dania character, I had no idea why I should care about her. She looked very longingly off in the distance a lot, and she talked to Paul a lot, and they had conversations in the tent. I was just bored. I'd be honest with you, I was just bored. I was like, and the problem is that even though I haven't read the books, I've talked to J-Man enough to understand the books are cool, right? And there's a lot of great stuff in there. And I feel like this movie has been what I would call prestiged, which basically means all of the interesting, like colorful, fantasy-ish stuff has been sucked out to make it a prestige movie. And I just have no interest in those sort of films anymore. So in a nutshell, that's me. And that's why I think of Dune 2.
That's an incredible outlook for someone who's never watched the previous movies, for someone who's never read the book, to just come out and say something that is heartbreaking.
Wow. My wife did not like, she did not read the book. She only saw the first, like, this Dune movie the part one of this movie. She did not like it at all. She thought it was boring, and she's like, it's dull, boring, and nothing happens, and why do I care about any of it? She's like, why is this a famous thing? I was like, oh dear. And then I felt really bad, and please read these because I love this book. Okay, let's go Clobby, because you're second in, and then Steve, I'll go. Clobby, what did you? So Clobby, you just saw part 1 and 2 for the first time this week, right?
Yes. Saturday I saw part 1, and then just got back a little while earlier today seeing part 2. Previously, of course, as everything Steven said, I agree with 100%. I almost don't need to say anything. He said it perfectly what I was going to say. Let's see here. My experience with Dune, and as someone who's had many things, as you well know, J-Man, destroyed that I love by adaptation. It's called murder by adaptation.
Right.
I really feel for the Dune fans of the book who are upset. Now, again, some fans of the books are not, and that's great too. My experience with Dune basically is the David Lynch Freako movie from 1985. I saw it at the theater that one time. I think I bought the Marvel Super Special because Bill Sienkiewicz did the art. I have not read the books, and there's no badge of honor not reading. I just never got around to it. I've always wanted to, and never did. So I can only judge these, as Steve was saying, as films on their own. And I've seen a lot of people pretty well disposed towards both of these movies, so they're doing very well. And a lot of people really like them, even people who weren't fans of the book. They were really liking this film, but I had the same problems that Stevie did. I don't like Timothy Chalamet. I can't get interested in, and I found none of the characters particularly compelling, especially your leads.
Sigurd.
What's that?
Sigurd.
Who?
Oh, Javier Bardem. Sigurd.
Oh, Stilgar.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, let me just bring Lady Fantastic.
Hey.
Did you guys hear that Javier Bardem said that he would not do the movie unless he got a scene where he was riding a sandworm into attack. Yeah.
That'd be my stipulation too.
He got it.
Agreed. Definitely agreed.
All right. So Clobby, continue on.
Wait, there were sandworms in the film?
Just a couple times.
I mean, not much.
Not much. I'll tell you that much.
No, yeah. I mean, this film is dull as dishwater. It looks that way. Now, again, I think the second film's at least better paced for me a little bit. I was bored in both films, but especially in the first one. A lot of it was a lot of setup stuff. And again, I fully admit that it comes from not being someone who is immersed in the material of the film, of the book. Nevertheless, a movie in the theater is supposed to grab everybody. Which in this case, and it is. By the way, not a big crowd for 11:30 in the morning on a Sunday. At the IMAX, so I think it's going to
do really good.
Do very well. Yeah, and God bless him for that. I don't get Zendaya, man. I'm sorry. She is just another one of these characters. Movies are visual, and usually, look, the David Lynch film is it's insane.
Yes.
But you don't forget it. You walk out whether you like the movie or not. You don't forget about it. It stands out. The design is bold. It's distinctive. It's 1985. I've never gone back to watch that movie. I've seen pictures once in a while, and I'll never forget it. The way it looks, scenes from it that you see all the time, because it's distinctive. It's a film that makes you remember it, even if you don't really care for it all that much.
You gotta take a bath after you watch it.
Yeah, but you remember it. And this one, I'm going to forget it. Like, I'm already forgetting it. Everything was forgettable. They weren't trying. I know they were trying to be Lawrence Arabia. They're more like a Braveheart in the desert type thing. And I'm not Anakin, who hates saying that much, by the
way. It does get everywhere. It gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere. But usually I like my sand with a bunch of bikinis, or at least, or some banthas. Hey.
Banthas, yeah.
So this is like it's a part of a 6-book trajectory. So it's like, if you look at it just as this singular product, like, that's one thing, but Paul Atreides is not the hero. He's, if anything, like an antichrist. Like,
that's what he's scared of becoming.
Yeah, because he saw that if it freaked him out too much. If he chose to take the golden path, he would have to sacrifice everything basically it meant to be human, so that he could oversee and lord over humanity and quote unquote give them what they want until like the great scattering. And when
I'm waiting for the God Emperor. Okay, so Steve, you are next. What are your thoughts? And then we'll go to late. And then I guess Mark, are you satisfied with what you said with your thing, or do you want to have?
I just want to argue with you some more. I'll wait till it's appropriate.
All right, we'll wait. Yeah, that's okay. I do like it. I told my wife this will be a loud stream.
Yeah, I could defend the shit out of this movie to the cows come home. It's not on a cinematic level, not on a Dune adaptation level.
I don't like the look of it at all, man.
Dude, that's a preference thing. It's undeniably shot like phenomenally. This is top tier cinema.
It's well made.
Okay, hold on. Let's Steve go.
Okay, so I won't have much to add for the second one because I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Okay.
But I am admittedly a Denis Villeneuve fan, and I really like the first one. And like Steven, I haven't read the books. But I'm wondering if, based on what everyone is saying, if okay, obviously the film has to be an adaptation, and there's a lot to kind of cobble together. From what I'm hearing, is it more that maybe they have chosen the wrong filmmaker to adapt the
I don't
film
know.
because of the
know.
pacing? Because his pacing for most of his films are slow anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking someone who is going to maybe be slow anyway, and then have material that's kind of slow, and that's two slows.
Two slows make a don't make a race.
Right? So I'm wondering if that's maybe part of the issue, and then also then casting to hope to bring in dollars with Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet, as opposed to just getting people that are going to be engaging that you might not know, that might fit the source material better. Because I'm really looking forward to seeing this, but from what I'm hearing, it's kind of like I'm almost set up for disappointment.
Well, don't go. Okay, the thing is,
No, a lot of people really like it.
If you like number one, you will love what's about to happen.
A lot of people really like it, Steve. So you're probably going to be okay.
A lot of people,
really like
it. Outliers, I promise.
The thing is, though, but I gotta say this. I gotta say this. I have been, and Steven as well, and Sean and Clobby. I'm not sure about Bill because I haven't known him long enough, but I have been in this position for several movies. Like Transformers 1, like Force Awakens, where everyone's telling me this is Man of Steel, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm like, I don't know about that. And then later on, everyone's like, that wasn't that. These weren't that good, actually. And then I'm like, yeah. And then after a couple of movies more, Star Trek 2009, right? And then a couple of movies after that, Transformers 3, this Star Trek Beyond. They're like, these aren't that great. What is this? Right. It's like,
to be fair, J-Man, every movie you just
from the beginning
was not praised by fans from the day they came out.
Force Awakens, everyone died over it.
You didn't name that. Man of Steel.
I did Force Awakens. I named Force Awakens.
From the day it came out, like rightfully so. Like I'm a fan of it, but rightfully panned. Transformers, rightfully panned by Gen 1 people. I'm a Michael Bay guy, but I still think that's justifiably panned by Gen 1 people. You know what I mean?
Not the people I talked to. I was fighting with everybody after all these movies.
I actually went with my wife and brother-in-law to see The Man of Steel because there were so many people screaming, this is the greatest movie ever. I'm like, I can't wait to see that.
Legion. Read the books?
I went to premiere night, and people walked out pissed. Like the entire sold-out theater walked out pissed. And I worked at a movies. I was a store manager of a movie stop for years, and people would come in there just to talk movies. And dude, I was having to explain to them like trying to justify it from day one. From day one.
So, Mark, sorry, did you read the Dune books? Just so, lady.
No, absolutely.
Okay,
not.
so who read the books? Well, I only read the first 4 books.
I've read just about everything.
I've seen the David Lynch film, the Frank Herbert film. I haven't seen part 3 of Children of Dune.
Children of Dune.
I'm up to 4. That's where I stopped.
Book 4. Okay, so
that's the last
and I'll let you talk next.
Partially like.
I love book 4, and that's it. I don't care. I'll die on that hill. Guy's he's a worm. It's a man
I'm
worm.
Say with
what the heck?
Legion of Comics. You look like a cool guy. I don't know how big you are, but on here you look like you're a pretty tough guy. I'd love to roll some jujitsu with you, but I'm going to say something I hope isn't going to piss you off.
I do Greco-Roman, oil only.
Okay. I knew that at some point you were going to make the suggestion that this was going to be similar to the Snyder stuff. I had this feeling. I'm like,
I didn't bring that up.
This guy. I know, but then the discussion was just perfect. Who brought it up?
Perfect,
what I'm saying is, I knew that this was just going to be like the perfect dashboard. Because like the way that I heard you say,
Snyder stuff. Whatever.
I understand the way that I heard you say that you were a stan for, and somebody else said the same thing for this director Villeneuve, whatever his name is.
Villeneuve. Yeah.
I just thought to myself, this literally sounds like the release the Snyder Cut stuff. That's what it sounds like, and I knew you were gonna be heartfelt about that.
Yeah, the only other time you and I have ever been on a panel was when we were here with J-Man talking, ranking the Snyderverse. That.
Oh yes.
Okay,
right.
yes, nice. And the other guy.
Yeah, I don't
crazy
defend
on me.
stuff to other people. I recognize stuff for its flaws, and I can still enjoy bad stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I watched Madam Web ironically and had the time of my life.
Wow, that's a fail.
going into it knowing
Wow.
like this is about to be a
Crap.
flop from 2001. Like
It's
knowing
now-
that.
And now I got to say to Jay, yes, Jay, I thought that it was at least going to be decent. Turns out I was completely wrong.
I know. I don't know why you thought that. Okay, let's let
Because I
Lady
saw the one trailer and I thought they could potentially actually do something.
The
good
girls
with
weren't
this.
in
They just
costume.
chose
They
not
honey
to.
dicked everyone with the trailer.
They did.
I couldn't have
Yeah.
known. All I saw was the trailer. I didn't.
I wore
other people
sweatpants.
talking about the
I
behind the
wore
scenes stuff.
sweatpants, and then I didn't, and I never wear sweatpants.
There's a
Okay,
producer
Lady Fancy.
somewhere saying
But here's
that
a
the trailer
character with
didn't
no
flop.
backstory in the comic books for the most part, and they could do that here. And what a great opportunity! My bad, I forgot. This is Sony.
Yeah, relax. Yeah. Okay, Steve, would you want to say something?
I have one comment because I came in a little bit late. Did
Oh, yeah.
anyone or has anyone brought up the fact of the scene or the character that was cut and how that has affected
His sister.
Who's that?
Tim Blake Nelson apparently was supposed to be in it.
Oh, I don't know.
His
What,
character has been cut from 2,
Okay.
and so I'm just wondering for anyone who's really familiar with the story, how that may have affected the telling of, or how.
Are you talking about Through Fear, the guy that plays Through Fear, Hawat, the
Through Hawat?
Mentat?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Through
did
Fear.
he
The,
not,
guy,
They always neglect him.
the Mentats got effed, like I was
they
saying.
did
It's like,
get effed.
and that's the whole thing. Frank Herbert, if you know who he was a Mentat, and like this whole world that he created.
Frank Herbert was Dr. Liet Kynes.
Yeah.
Frank Herbert was Dr. Liet Kynes. Because he's the first ever actual scientist to write science fiction.
And you know what? Poor Brian got fucked because he can't even like write. And it's just, I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
So Lady Fantastic,
his
what,
buddy
did you see
Anderson.
Dune 2? You saw Dune 2, right?
I haven't, but like
Oh, you haven't
I've read
seen it,
it.
okay.
I mean, well, I've read the first 4 books.
Yeah.
And I've seen the first Dune and like this Villeneuve one, and I've seen the 84 one.
Okay. Did you see the miniseries Dune?
I
Those
didn't.
they're not too bad.
They've always shit on Liet Kind then because like who it was it was Max von Sydow or some shit that played him in the 84. And he was in their first scene, then you see him get killed. That's it. That is it. That's all they did in 84.
That's one movie though. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. I was about
and
to
it
ask.
was the most crucial scenes.
Now I was about to ask. Like, I don't even recall in the Sci-Fi Channel one. Did they lean more into that character in that one?
Well, they didn't do a whole lot more with him, but yes, they did have more of him in there. They did show how crucial he was to the planet of Arrakis. Yeah.
I think I've got 2. I actually don't hate either of these movies. I bought it on 4K. I'll buy this one on 4K. And I will rewatch it again to give it its just because it's tough in the theater. You never know. Like you get kind of pumped up and then you're like, oh, this wasn't that good. You know, I'll rewatch it because I don't think it's a shit movie. So I don't want people to go out thinking like, oh, this is Madam Web garbage or something. Like, we're not talking like literally a trash fest or whatever. Like this is not a garbage movie. It's better than Phase 4 stuff or whatever. We're not talking that. I'm talking about everyone's saying this is a masterpiece of film and this is one of the greatest movies of all time. It's like, well, when that is said to me, and I own like a couple of 100 classic movies, black and white, right? I just the other day I went to Steven's place. We watched The Sting, and I watched that again on 4K. It looks beautiful. Great transfer. We're watching like 7 Oscars. Like I'm watching, like when someone's saying best movies ever, I'm thinking Lawrence of Arabia, 2001 Space Odyssey, even like first Blade Runner. I don't mind the second Blade Runner, which is Denis Villeneuve. Like when someone's saying Dune is in, I'm like, wow, okay, here we go. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's kind of boring. Like nothing's really going on.
So you're going to shit on Dune for not winning 7 Oscars when it only
it only
won 6.
If they hey Tevya, if everyone is saying it's the best, I immediately get nervous. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. If everyone says something sucks, I also get nervous. If everyone comes to say this is the worst piece of trash ever, I'm like, okay, hold on a second. What movies have you watched to say that this is the worst movie you've ever seen? Because I see that a lot. This is the worst movie. I'm like, I don't think. See, Stephen and I don't know if anybody else. We were in film class and we watched many different movies, and my interpretation of what is a bad movie is very like. I mean, like I
how does it compare to House 2?
I love House 2.
Bro. Come on, man.
House 2 is great. That came on that I've got that, of course. I own that movie on DVD, of course. And House 2 is a hoot. It's not as good as House 1, obviously.
Saying that about the film stuff, like, can you like like I honestly don't have a problem with this. Like with Marvel stuff, I haven't enjoyed it like thoroughly since Thor Ragnarok. Lady Fantastic knows this. We have these talks all the time.
Yep.
My knowledge of comic books and my experience with comic books and growing up in a household with a father who's collected since the 60s, it hinders me from enjoying Disney's interpretation of these characters. I haven't loved the Spider-Man film since Spider-Man 2. I enjoyed Andrew Garfield's first one, but I haven't loved one since Spider-Man 2. And like that, but that's I recognize that about me, and it doesn't mean that everything came out was a bad movie. It means I can't stomach their interpretation of it. I can recognize that with myself. Can you recognize that with you in Dune 2? Because if this book never existed, if you just went into this and this is the first piece of property, I get what Steven says. Like, did he connect to this character? He didn't. I did. At the end of that movie, when Paul was standing there staring at the Emperor, wounded, like trembling and holding himself on his 2 fucking feet, I got goosebumps, and I thought to myself, whoever the fuck Charlie in the Chocolate Factory is here is going to be the next generation's Leo. Like I watched this.
I didn't get that.
So
I watched
I have
this
a response to that.
fucking form in front of my eyes in this movie. I saw it. My
Instead
entire
of you
theater
saying
was
like, instead of you saying, "Hey, have you thought about like, you know, your bias?" I think maybe you should like take the consideration of, okay, you read the material first and then watched the movies and said, "I don't like this because I read the origin material."
Yeah, that's
Well,
how I am
maybe
with
some of us in this context of Dune have also read the origin material.
That's
and
what I
we're
just
doing the
asked
same
him.
exact thing.
Yeah, if that's happening with him now, that was the question that I just said.
Hello.
Happening for the book readers and stuff like that.
Hello, Tevya. You've never been on my channel before. Welcome.
No, being a channel, I just found you out there on YouTube as a documentary. But thank you for having me. And I just got a Jim Boy argument review on my channel, and this movie I made on February this year. This movie is number 1 of 2024. I love this movie.
Well, it's still early 2024, and 2024. I mean, right now the best movie of 2024 is Godzilla -1. I'm just gonna carry that over until the next. I know. I know it's not. It's still the best movie. Well, I would say Godzilla 1954 is the best movie of 2024. If we go, I've got that. So you took them out, right, Mark?
I just opened it today, and I have the companion set that holds all the discs on your Blu-ray set. So this could go with the hardbacks.
Nice.
I was waiting on Finn to get home to open it out of the plastic because you know how Finn is. Like that's my Godzilla buddy. Yeah.
So PSA on that one. If anyone else bought that, hello Nitro. So my discs fell through the holding, and the glue stuck to all of them, and I couldn't peel the glue off of the Blu-rays. It's very upsetting. And now I own every Godzilla movie on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and I'm still getting the 4K. So I can watch every movie in some format.
Not the point, though. You paid for this,
but I paid for that, so I was very upset.
I don't even know where to start with getting the fucking.
Do you have
DVDs.
money problems owning all these different versions of the same?
You know me, man. Look, I bought like Wakanda Forever and Eternals on 4K. That's how stupid I am. I paid money for Eternals on 4K. That's how dumb I am.
What a waste, man.
Yeah,
I know.
It's not that bad a movie. It was just disappointing.
No, it's awful.
You have a sickness.
Yeah.
I am a
Nitro, hello.
Hello. I am a massive. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but in terms of potential, how do you split it up? Oh wait, we kind of got that story at the end movie, The Impossible. So I didn't make it a series. I know. Continue.
I'm a huge Godzilla fan, but for the last decade, I've been looking to get into collecting the DVDs or VHS or whatever. There are so many fucking movies. Jesus Christ!
There's so many Godzilla movies.
It's intimidating to even start.
Get them all.
I have them all. I have them all digital, but God, I need to get them physically.
Get them all.
Watch guys in the animated series back in the day. That show is fantastic. But
I haven't seen the animated series.
They're not even bad. Don't get me wrong, but that movie, give it that series. But you can put the movie all down. The animated series is amazing.
I get it.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. That was better than the 90s one. Sorry,
I'm pretty hardcore and just mainly only loving the fucking suits. You gotta have a suit.
Yeah.
Well, they've done. Did you see -1? I mean,
I have not. I was asking my dad to see it in theaters because we always see everything in
You
fucking
tell him.
theaters, and he
You-
didn't want to see it because we heard that it was just going to be subtitles, and he's like, "Oh,
Are you skeptic?
I
Am I
thought
gonna
that
have
was
to kick
fucking
you out of the
stupid.
stream? That's
no,
like a,
no.
well,
I
don't say
wanted to see it.
weirdness
I
like
should have
that.
seen it just by myself. I should have just done that.
I should have
Wow.
I wish I did. I don't think it's in theaters anymore, is it?
Well, no, it can't be out. Maybe Mark knows this better, or maybe Bill knows. It can't be out at the same. There needs to be a gap between
the legendary agreement.
Yeah.
It's a foreign film with a limited theatrical engagement, anyways. That they extended which
it. Yep.
We got lucky for the extension, and we got lucky for the black and white release here in the States too. I think the legendaries just they decided to piggyback on it, but yeah, that's why it's going to be so long till the Blu-ray release as well, because like Legendary and Toho work well together to help each other and help the brand of Godzilla. They don't look at each other as competition. They've marketed, strategized, and everything. That's why it was so long between
I need to see it.
Godzilla 2014 and -1.
My dad's
had this
weird.
in the chamber for a long time.
I like the legendary movies too. I know there's naysayers, but I kind of like those as well.
My dad's fucking weird though.
Sorry.
He thinks that like automatically any animated movie is cheap. So he doesn't want to see it. Like I've been trying to get him to watch Treasure Planet for like so.
The thing is,
long.
this is no. This is Skeptic is one of our Great White North. Oh, you bought those? Come on, they don't look very good.
I got the whole set. Like I've had.
I saw.
And Cross Spider-Verse.
I hate Spider-Verse. I'm sorry. I hate the Cross Spider-Verse. I think it's garbage.
I don't know who said that, but me, it's just the animation. I can't do the animation.
It's not. I can get you with the frame rate and shit like that, but like it's not even that. It's just I just think that the story is too convoluted and just ridiculous.
That actually Across the Spider-Verse, the last half an hour was awesome, and I was waiting for 2 hours to get to the storyline. I thought, when is there going to be a story? I wonder.
We're actually talking about Dune.
Okay, let's go back to Dune. Back to Dune. Back to Dune.
Like you're talking like convoluted and ridiculous.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, back to Dune.
Jay, I'm gonna have to bug out, man. Hey, Jay, I'm afraid I have to run out, buddy.
Okay, Clobby, thanks so much, buddy, for coming
on.
Clobby.
All right, you have
Well,
a good
take
one, man.
care.
Be safe.
See you tomorrow night, buddy.
See you tomorrow night, man.
All right, bro.
All right.
Okay, there's one thing that I noticed in Dune that I don't know if you guys noticed, but do you remember what they said that they had like 200 Freemen, right? Around 200.
Well, every speech has a certain
10,000.
amount. I don't remember. There must be like a million or something.
Yeah, because it looked like there was like 10,000 instead of 200.
So no, there's more.
Okay.
200 speeches of 10,000 each.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That they did say that. Now, actually, Steve had a few questions, and this is very interesting. And this is not for the book people because we knew the answers.
I never read the book. So.
Did you read the book?
No, I did not.
Okay. So, Steve, I forgot what were I was trying to remember. So, okay, I mean, we already discussed what the spice is used for because it was very quickly mentioned in the film in the first Dune movie where they kind of talked about the spice.
Yeah.
But there's some other questions too, like what was the failure of Paul? Or no, what was the failure of the Atreides?
How did he fail? So he got there. So I'll walk you through the sequence of events in Dune 1. He got there. He went and he saw, I got to get a crap load of spice, right? He's got one container. He's got a whole thing. Okay, cool. Then he goes to see a spice crawler, right? And that's where he saves those people, right? He comes back and he's attacked. I'm like, when did he fail?
Yeah, so what Steve is alluding to, though, now we know because there's plans within plans within plans, as they say in the book. But in the film, this is what it appears like in the film. And this is something I did not notice myself. I think when you've read the book and you're watching a movie play out, you fill in all the gaps that I'm like, oh yeah, that's that guy. Cool. And like through for Howard, like I'm like, oh yeah, there's the Mentats. That's cool. It's like, oh, there's Piter. Yeah, that's cool. And you fill it all in. But and Steve caught me off guard with this question. So in the film, it appears we know why the Emperor has given it to the Atreides because Leto's getting really high in the Landsraw. He's gaining popularity. He wants to undermine him. So he gives him Arrakis, sends him, and the Harkonnens destroyed, sabotage the crap out of everything. So it's just shit. He gets there and he saves those guys. And then as soon as he returns back, he's immediately attacked. And you're like, wait, what the hell happened there? Like, why is he being attacked now? Did they show that in the movie? Or I know that we know, like us people, right? Like maybe I'll put the Dune people. I'll put the readers up on top. How's that? I know this row knows, but why does anyone in this bottom know why that happened in the movie? Like,
I give a feeling. I think because when part 2 they showed the Emperor, like he's the reason why how trade fell apart because he destroyed it. Because apparently they're going to them and the mothers, those jerks. They be like, oh, how trade becomes soft too weak. So we got stuck at the bloodline in order to preserve power for the Emperor. That's why I think.
Did it show it in the movie though? Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah. So they said all the way through, like Baron Harkonnen says, like the Emperor gets jealous, all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool. But the sequencing of events is off for me because he literally does the sandcrawler. He comes back. There's no idea of a passage of time, and he's just literally attacked. And I'm like,
yeah, okay.
They alluded to it in so do you remember when the herald of the empire or whatever goes and announces to the Atreides this thing, and Atreides has to go and do a signet ring thing. Leto makes the offhanded remarks like, how much did this cost them? Because he knows that ultimately the Emperor had to pay for this, and the Emperor is not as rich as the Harkonnens, but the Harkonnens are their heavy hand, and so because the Emperor does not want to be seen doing dirty work, he uses the Harkonnens as the and the Sardaukar as the heavy hand or whatever.
I don't know if it's shown clearly in the film though, thinking about it, because like
it was because
it's very obvious to us. And the thing is that they always say plans within plans within plans. That's kind of their thing.
I don't think it was ever straightforward. It was, but there was when I saw that line and saw the skepticism, that's immediately what
it triggered in your it triggered in your mind.
I saw part 1 like for the first time, and I've never watched anything Dune related. I've watched part 1 like literally like last week, and I'm just I do not understand why they were assassinating him, and a lot of the whole plot of part 1 was kind of confusing to me, to be honest.
Well, remember, Dune is a very complicated book. Trying to adapt the thing is pretty impossible, but they pulled off this time. Because remember, the first attempt to do Dune was bad. I heard.
I don't know. Whenever people say that something is impossible to adapt, I never believe that, because people said that about Lord of the Rings, and people said that about people say that about video game movies too, and that those are being successful now.
Anyhow, I'm gonna take off, guys. Take care. Thanks for talk.
All right, take it easy.
Yeah.
I think that Dune has two possibilities. There's Game of Thrones, where you make it a very high quality, higher budget television series, like Steve. Now there's only one Steve who can. So where Steve was saying, like, it's like a slow person can take it, all the nuance, put the nuances into every episode, make it a little bit longer, make it a television series that's longer, like a Game of Thrones or House of Dragons.
We did get that. I know you banned.
You did, but you need to have it with today's technology.
I'm sorry, but like making an entire trilogy for Dune is just really fucking silly to me. It reminds me of Final Fantasy VII Remake being a whole trilogy. What else? There was something else that they're making a whole fucking trilogy of. The Hobbit trilogy. The fucking Hobbit trilogy.
Oh, dude, we're not in agreement on the Hobbit. I love the Hobbit trilogy.
I love the Hobbit.
I think it was way too long. It's
no way. I love it. Sorry to disappoint. And I've read the book a few times.
I really like the book.
I am going to put concrete in a cardboard box, and that will be our box war.
No, stop it.
Wow.
Nice.
Stop it. I love the Hobbit trilogy. I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Extended both. Extend them all, baby. Extend that shit up.
Here's
where I love Lord of the Rings. I'm a big Tolkien fan. I've read all of that. And I love the trilogy, the Tolkien, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but I do feel like they were stretching. They were milking. Like, as soon as they got that chick, the wasp, Ava, or whatever, the chick, and I'm like, come on.
The thing is,
I think it's silly to add characters. Like,
no, hold on a second though. The so what's his face? Peter Jackson was losing the rights, and the estate was taking it back. So he's
So he didn't
literally
change it enough.
What?
so he's like literally, I'm gonna throw every damn Lord. He's like, I'm not making The Hobbit. I'm making a Lord of the Rings prequel trilogy. That's his
for those
like it's
For people who love Lord of the Rings.
I couldn't even get through the first movie of The Hobbit.
oh really? Wow. I
It's like
love
hearing him say
I
Schmog.
love it. I love
Smaug.
you know what you want something real disturbing? Here's
Well,
what
I
I'm gonna
did see clips of the smog thing, and I thought those was garbage also.
What?
But
That's awesome. I thought
something
it was smart,
so
Peter.
amazing.
That's it.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around
original
the stream where
words.
people are praising the Hobbit trilogy and complaining about Dune 2. This is
No,
Yeah.
because
I'm screaming at both of them.
Smog.
no. The Hobbit trilogy has a lot of cool stuff. They're fighting giant spiders. They're fighting those troll guys. There's a lot of cool
Okay,
stuff
wait.
going on in that.
That was
Nothing happens in
that was
Dune
in the
2.
book.
You just said they're fighting trolls and spiders. You literally just explained the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So they're just
Well,
copying the
expl-
original.
That happens in
No.
The Hobbit. What are you talking
You
about, Scott?
specifically, yeah, that happened when they went to Mirkwood in the Hobbit.
No, but there's lots of cool battles. Like there's lots of cool adventures along the way. The whole barrel scene was really cool. And I have to tell you, I personally don't care about look, end of the day, I go by the characters.
Mhm.
I know I've got my system of reviewing movies and whatever. But if you ask me throw your system out throw it out the window. Just tell me, I go with the characters. If I like the lead character and I'm invested in that character, this is why the Christopher Reeve films, I like them all. Obviously 4 is a poorly made film. 3 has a lot of goofiness, but Christopher Reeve is Superman and he is great in all of them. And that's good enough for me. And I love watching it just for him being Superman. I love like Bilbo. I like Bilbo and Thorin more than anyone in Lord of the Rings. Again,
What's going to get awesome?
but I'm not emotionally invested in Gandalf.
Everyone.
Really? You're not emotionally involved with Gandalf?
My favorite character is Sam.
Great.
Yeah.
Because he is the true guy he is the hero. He's like, I will go with you, Frodo, and I will take you to the end. And
Sam are great.
yeah, and Frodo's pretty good too. I do like Frodo, but I don't love Frodo. But I love Bilbo and Thorin.
Frodo is broken.
Yeah.
He's broken by the ring. At the end of the ring.
That's good.
So if I like the characters, I like it.
broken.
If I don't care about anyone in Dune. You know, my favorite character was Stilgar. I thought he was kind of cool.
I called that early, dude. Javier Bardem steals the show in this.
He is the stealer of this
Yeah,
movie.
he's amazing.
He's funny without having comical lines. Like it goes back to
He
why
is,
I like
yes.
Thor 1, but I like Thor 2. I just don't like the rest of them. Like you don't need comedy. The fact that there's an Asgardian deity on Earth just moving through our reality would be funny in itself. Watching them enter, like that's how Stilgar felt. Like the way he's just him in a world that's not meant for him, and they're trying to make
Right.
that work, you know. And
I'll give you a laugh out loud.
Oh, he's so humble.
I'll give okay, laugh out loud moment, Dune 2 positive part where he's like, no, I'm not the chosen one. He's like, oh my god, he doesn't even believe, which means he really is. I was like, that is
He's like, humility, he's definitely the chosen one.
He's definitely the chosen one now. That was funny.
But this prophecy, and I've already messed up prophecy. The one thing, right? Look, say it was Secret Video going Star Wars, look really, but didn't take that prophecy stuff from Star Wars, even if we could do that. Well, we have to update. I like, but that prophecy, but twist that on his head because oh shit, like we're not even a hero, we're even a villain because yeah, the Emperor was an asshole, would be the Emperor scumbag, but Paul Trade, he's a good guy, but I don't think it's prophecy the way it's supposed to be. I think it must mess up prophecy. Which begs the question, where are they going to go with 3? Because he started a war with all the houses and
well, yeah. They didn't want to say the name of the war, Did you notice that? I can understand why they didn't want to say the actual
It's a hot button, isn't it? And they didn't go with the Baron Harkonnen having the hots for little young men.
So you know what's really
they do without going like they do just as like almost just as much as the Lynch film. The Lynch
Because he screws Faye.
Yeah.
It's basically. I mean,
well, you get one scene in the Lynch film, like again, just from the cinematic angle. I haven't read the
Just
books.
like,
Like in the Lynch, you told me about about that. So when I went back and watched the Lynch film, like looking at just the weirdness of him throughout the whole film, you can
There's a
focus on
slight
that point.
reference to it.
Yeah, like when the dude's held
The
at
young boy
gunpoint,
and he
putting
plugs
the
his spark
flowers.
plug. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Wait,
when he
you
looks
expect the train
at
wreck.
Sting in the thong.
Wait till he's in Aaliyah's mind. That's the best. I guess that'll be book.
What?
That'll be the third film.
I
That'll be
love which one? Leto the second?
no, Aaliyah, where
Oh,
Harkonnen
yeah.
is in her.
Dude,
Is
when
in
she's
her.
losing, oh my
That is awesome.
So-
That is
That's-
awesome.
So I heard you say earlier that Zendaya actually never like Zendaya's character, because I don't fucking remember the names of the characters because I suck. But
It's
like,
Johnny.
yeah, Johnny. So she doesn't fucking walk away in the original.
No, she's with him.
Huh.
She's with him all the way for what I heard.
Well, to be 100% clear, like the way this movie ends is an abrupt stop in the middle of a massive event start. Like these films aren't this.
There will be a third one.
What we just saw was
closure-
Two Towers. We just saw
Yeah.
Two Towers. Okay, so
Like,
there's
Towers
gonna be
was
another
amazing.
Like yo, like
You gotta make
army
it move.
armies running like in like literally don't even get a chance to breathe, running to ships you just
Yeah,
acquired,
this is so
taking
cool.
off, and then Paul's mom saying, "Let the holy war begin." Cut.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
really, like there is no like this is still moving. Like it doesn't slow down. Like all the way to the point of
Yep.
directed by, which
This
it was a
started out
great-
like an
great way
event,
to end
and
it.
it ended with a bang.
Did they have any
One-
spice orgies?
I saw that face,
spice
Professor. But
orgy?
one thing this film does do, if they never make a third one, everything that was started in Dune Part 1 is wrapped up in this. They wrap up
They're gonna make part
everything
three.
and they leave it wide open ended kind of thing. Like if they never make another one, you can like fill in the gap of what happens next in your mind.
Yeah.
No, they're making it. He's making one more, and that'll conclude Dune Messiah, and then that'll be.
I just think it's
I'm fine
funny
with
as
that.
shit.
That makes sense.
I just think it's really fucking funny that they're making a whole trilogy for one book, though.
It's not one book. It'll be
Not
two
one book.
books.
No, no,
Oh, so they're
You want the
adapting
entire
the second
saga.
book, or
The second book is pretty short.
okay.
Well, in
Absolutely.
comparison to the other ones.
To the first
So
book.
they usually even the Dune miniseries. Really, the first Dune miniseries was the first two books, and then Children of Dune was really just the.
No.
Children
Oh,
of Dune Part
reversing
1
that?
was
The first three, the trilogy was the first book. The next trilogy was
Was
the
the
first part was Messiah. The next
and then the
part
children.
Part
I was just thinking-
1 was the end of Paul's
Right.
journey. Then Part 2 is where James McAvoy, like
Yes,
15 years after Paul went out into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
desert.
yeah, okay.
No,
Wait,
you're
wait,
talking about the
I'm
second trilogy.
I'm talking
The
this.
second
Yeah,
trilogy?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Children of Dune was the second trilogy, and Part 1 finished out Paul's stuff. Paul dies at the end of Part
So
1.
that would have been Messiah. That would have been the Messiah
Well,
book then.
It looked
Yeah, his
like
kids
he died.
are
He did
born in
not
Part
die.
1.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like his kids
Yeah.
are born in Part 1. He goes out into the desert, and then the very next one, the start of Part 2. It's been 15 years, and his kids that were born in the finale of Part 1 are now
They're
adults.
now older.
Are,
Yeah.
when you're
Wait,
saying
wait,
part
wait,
one, part
I-
two, are you saying of the book?
No, during the miniseries.
In the
Miniseries.
miniseries, in the miniseries, there were two trilogies. The
Yeah,
first
3
trilogy
parts.
is just the first
Dune.
book.
Yes.
Yes.
And
The
then
book
Part
is
1 of the
800
second
pages.
trilogy is
It's
Messiah.
not,
Is Messiah, and then Children of Dune is two
Yeah.
of them.
It's the last
and
two.
then
Yes.
God Emperor.
But
I don't think they
never
did God Emperor.
They never
in
did
the-
God Emperor in the movie series.
No, they'll never do it, but I would love to see it.
Me too.
What?
That's the damn best. That'd be awesome.
I
Don't naysay Bill. The guy's a worm. It's awesome, man.
Wait,
It's like he's
wait.
No,
like,
it's not
bad
just the idea that
wait,
you got a
I'm
freaking guy
curious,
as a
though.
worm. That's always cute. What I'm saying is that's the thing that actually kills it. Because the fourth book is the one where they actually make it the big time epic thing that Duncan, Idaho, a guy named
Yeah.
after a sack of potatoes,
Oh,
is
I love
actually
potatoes.
the ultimate Kwisatz Haderach.
What? Wait,
Oh,
wait,
Not
wait.
at all.
I don't
but
think
this
that at
is-
all either.
That's a weird interpretation. But
I didn't
Wait,
think
wait, wait,
that.
wait, wait,
It's-
wait,
okay,
wait,
here's
wait,
the-
wait,
here's
wait,
the
wait,
trick.
I'm lost.
Stop. It's
What?
not an interpretation. I think
Huh?
I'm the only one here who actually read all the books.
You might
Oh,
be
wait,
if you've read.
wait,
I've read the
okay,
first
I'm
four, but
confused.
Duncan Idaho's just been cloned a bunch of times. I started book 5, and he's been cloned like 100 times.
Should I
now.
It
tell
was
you
an
how it
existential
ends?
crisis.
Should I
What?
tell you how it ends?
Which one? The fifth one?
Or the sixth book?
There's the original Sexton,
6, and that's it for Frankie.
but then there was the notes that were left over that were made into 2 extra books.
Oh, I'm not counting. What with his
Okay,
grandson?
Well, if you
What?
don't count them, then should I tell you how it actually
Oh,
ends?
let's-
Let me
Sure,
tell you
go
about.
ahead.
Let me tell you about my fan fiction.
It's not a fan
Okay.
fiction. This is
There's like 30 Dune books, eh?
This is the way that this is the way that Frank Herbert originally intended for it to end.
Okay.
That all these different people are brought back. It'll be based off of the way that the 6th book ends, where everybody is a clone.
They're all Golas.
But they're all clones. They're all Golas. But then, oops, we're trying to hide from the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, who became more powerful than anybody ever. So the 7th and 8th book are basically getting everybody together. The androids of Z, the thinking robots of Z, are there. They're the most powerful beings ever. The Butlerian Jihad, oh my God, didn't quite pan out the way they wanted to be. The Machine Crusades actually wound up ruling everything. They are the most powerful beings out there. But there's still the idea of the Kwisatz Haderach. So they brought back Paul. Paul was supposed to be able to save everything. So what did? They had Paul go against what's supposed to be the ultimate thing, and it's supposed to be a reenactment of the last, of the end of the first book, where Paul goes up, he's fighting against the main bad guy, and he's supposed to kill the thing, but somehow the knife slips in, and he's like, "Holy shit, I'm gonna die," and he gets killed. He gets pulled out.
And then Duncan steps up.
And then Duncan steps in. And he just talks, and it turns out that he is actually the ultimate true Kwisatz Haderach.
He just doesn't.
So it was kind of cool because Paul and Chani actually get to go off and live the rest of their Gola lives together.
That's kind of weak to me.
Yeah, it's extremely weak, which is why I say that none of these books are good.
It sounds like he was just like throwing ideas at the wall on paper. And he's like,
but that's the thing that I see by Villeneuve hiring for Duncan Idaho's role, Jason Momoa. Here's the most good-looking guy in the face of creation today, apparently.
Yeah, he is.
All the chicks want him. All the dudes want to be like him. And the guy, he's supposed to be the guy that eventually, if they do continue with these movies, he's the guy who gets to stand up and be like, I was the ultimate.
Wait, but he died. Wait, does he come back?
I can hear what everybody's saying. What?
So,
Nitro. So in the books, like one thing that we're like just one film away from getting to is what Lady F just said, the Golas, like the failed empire, the failed empire. Like they didn't get killed, obviously, as you saw. They get exiled to a planet, and they just sit there plot and scheme the whole time. So one thing they want to do is try to get close to Paul, and they have technology that we haven't even been introduced to in this. As the books go on, there's new technology in all of them. One thing they have is the ability to make clones, and they're called Golas, but they don't retain any of their memories of their past life. They can program them, and just like with a T-850, you want something to identify from their past. So they clone Duncan Idaho since they know that he was close to Paul and everything, and they send him back on a scheme in Messiah. Is it? It'd have to be on Messiah.
I don't know.
So they send him back, and one thing he does in the big reveal is he's the first one ever in the history of him to bring his memories back, and he does it in epic fashion and saves the twins' life at birth and everything. So, Duncan's a teetotal badass,
and that was supposed to be the way. To actually, the face dancer was there. He was like, "You see, Paul? Do you see? You can actually have Shani back. You just simply have to submit and let this go." That's the way that the whole that's the way the whole thing was supposed to work.
So Villeneuve is only doing
Duncan Idaho didn't actually do a whole lot in that. He killed the midget.
He's doing.
That midget deserved it, my guy. Like he was a bastard.
Yes, he did.
Who wouldn't stop rhyming?
So
he's gonna have one more. He's gonna do one more movie, and then that's the. And then
oh my God, he was like Wheelie from the '86 Transformers the movie.
Oh God,
they have not greenlit Part 3 yet. This is on a success.
Really? They haven't greenlit the third one?
No, they didn't greenlight Part 2 till like 2.5 weeks after it dropped. Bear in mind that was a same day as home release, so like they were just kind of. So this movie's going to have to perform to get another one. That's how
it will perform.
That's how they should operate. But to be fair,
it seems like the general audience loves it.
They've done 200 plus on opening weekend, and it's about to win.
Yeah, it'll make it.
Fucking Oscar that exists.
God, I'm happy.
Batman vs Superman had the biggest opening weekend ever, Wait, was it Batman vs Superman or the Justice
It-
League? I think it was the Justice League. Biggest ever. And then the very next week, there was
It
like
tanked.
0 sales. So
And that's
yeah.
that's a real metric too. I'm glad you brought that up because I've got a friend who's a script writer in LA, and we were talking about this movie. He hasn't gone to see it yet, and he says like Rotten Tomatoes is great for us in the peanut gallery, but when it comes to the studios, what they actually look at is the percentage of people that are going to see it. And we were talking about Maverick and Avatar, how they're anomalies, how Maverick was going for 3 weeks and it's still pulling in multiple $1 million. It was going for 6 months, multiple $1 million every weekend, going for 8 months. Same thing with Avatar. These aren't, you don't want the MCU fan base that all show up on opening weekend and then that's it. That's what they consider on a filmmaker's level an absolute fail. With that 60% drop, that movie was an absolute flop to them. It doesn't matter what it makes. We can't do that again. What they want to see is a magical golden zone of 30%. So if this movie doesn't drop 30% by next weekend, they will guarantee greenlight it.
With as you can tell with the Man Web movie, that movie came like a rocket.
I'm guessing that it's going to be word of mouth, and everybody's saying everybody's saying that it's a masterpiece. I mean, I guess it's going to work out. But you ever notice something really funny? I don't know if you guys really thought about this, but that in the MCU, of course, Dave Bautista's character is going up. Going out for like revenge towards fucking fucking Josh Brolin's character. It's completely reversed in this fucking trilogy.
Well, everyone's in this. They have Mary Jane is in it. They have why is Willy Wonka teaming up with Mary Jane to fight Aquaman? And
you get what I'm saying. Josh Brolin's character is going out for blood as well for Dave Bautista's character. Isn't that ironic?
It's so cool.
It's both reverse.
But I think that this round, it's Josh Brolin character has to get revenge from not Bobby shit. It's King getting killed. But
Brolin was Gurney in the
Gurney was awesome.
Really like Josh Brolin's character.
I have to question Steve
before you go ahead. Sorry to interrupt, J-Man. For all of the Dune aficionados and anyone who's seen the second movie, what needs to be added if they get a third movie to make everyone happy in terms of both the filmmaking and fan service and all of that?
I've got two. Okay, so my first thing was either you do it as a very high budget miniseries and get all the little nuances, all the little geeky stuff in there and make it like Game of Thrones, or I think Villeneuve stripped out what he thought is in too much stuff and people can't get into it. I'm just going to do the basic story. But if you're going to do that, you got to heighten the action. And I think you got to make it so that things are more clear. Like in the David Lynch movie, every faction had different color schemes, had different banners that you could clearly tell. Oh, that guy's from Gidi Prime. Oh, that guy's, that's a Bene Gesserit. Oh, you could kind of tell a little bit they all kind of got muddied. I'm like, which one's the Sardaukar again? I'm like, I know who the Sardaukar are because I know. But I'm just saying is it that when they're all fighting? Remember in Transformers 1 where it's a bunch of gray robots fighting a bunch of gray robots and you're like, I don't know who's who at this point.
But did they? Sorry.
One more thing. Did anyone here? Has anyone here watched Jodorowsky's Dune? It's a documentary.
No, I have not.
Yes.
Lady Fantastic was telling me to watch that the other day.
Yeah. Okay. So I saw that in the theater. And I got on Blu-ray. I've seen it multiple times. I own many Jodorowsky films, and they're all very weird.
They thought that they were each other. Herbert and Jodorowsky, they thought each other was crazy.
They did.
I gotta head out.
Okay, Mark.
Crazy.
I'd be saying,
I'm sorry. Jodorowsky's idea at the end was Paul Atreides is going to die, and then everybody's going to be around. I'm Paul Atreides.
That's stupid. I know. Okay, Mark.
I'm sorry.
I do really appreciate
your order. Better if they said, I'm Paul Skywalker.
Paul Skywalker. Yes, take care.
Yeah.
Okay, so my thing is that you got to make it, for me, if you're going to strip out all the nuance and you're going to remove all these really little intricate details like Harkonnen, Baron Harkonnen is an amazing master strategist, evil scumbag. It's completely removed from this. He's just bad guy. I'm a bad guy.
With that.
There's no nuance, like you said. Yeah.
Baron, you're reading this book and you're like, and you don't know what to think of Baron Harkonnen. I'm literally reading this. I'm telling my wife, I'm like, you know what? This might be one of the greatest villains, and he's such a scum. I kind of like him, which you don't want to like him, but you're like, man, goddamn, he's so,
He's the epitome of amoral consumption. Consumption at the cost of everything.
Everything, yes.
Even to the point that he's willing to rape his nephew, and that he was upset that he didn't get to rape Paul Atreides.
Yeah, like
it's fucked up.
And he's so calculating with all of the plans, and he's like, I got this. He's a monster, but you're almost like, I hate to say I'm sitting there thinking, I bought multiple figures. I'm like, this guy's very interesting. And I just felt that the Dune, what's it called? David Lynch movie. I was like, oh, so terrible. He was terrible in that. He's goofy. He's like, I'm like, why are you so goofy?
Around like a balloon?
Like a balloon. Yeah, this one, he's more menacing. He's more menacing in this one.
I like the shroud.
Yeah, he came up. I like that. He is scary. But you PG-13 the guy. You PG'd him.
And you guys know
you can't do an always Dune movie. Wait.
So you guys know how he got gross and fat.
The poison. The poison did it.
In the book, there's like they do some prequels, and it was
House Harkonnen or whatever.
Yeah. And so the implication was that yes, they had to get Harkonnen's seed. The Bene Gesserit did. Harkonnen was gay. He hated that. He hated females. He didn't want to do it. But they're like, you're gonna have to do it. And he's like, fine, but I want to make it like a rape scenario, and made it miserable for the Bene Gesserit. And she transferred to him an STD that they had that gave him like a disease that made him fat and gross.
Whoa.
Yes.
If that's in the book, that could have been some interesting information for his backstory or something. It's very adult, but it's an adult story. Just go all
This
the
is
way.
a game of sabotage and intrigue. This is palace politics.
This is interesting.
Yes. That's not translated in these films. Has anyone? I don't know if anyone's read Death Note, or it's an anime.
I've seen the anime. I've seen Death Note. I've seen the anime. It's awesome.
That's what Dune is. You got Harkonnen, you got Atreides, and it's like they're trying to
Space Guild.
And the Fremen, and the Fremen, and the Bene Gesserit.
Yes,
everyone's playing their games.
Yes,
and this is Game of Thrones.
Scale, doesn't he? He sees like the Fremen on one side and then the Bene Gesserit on the other, and it's like, who do I serve? Because he knows now that his mom's like, oh shit, she's actually like, she wants to believe in this shit, and she knows that it's a lie.
Yeah,
I don't want to be a pawn in this. I'm born into I'm a pawn. Fuck.
I'm a pawn and run a political scheme. Like, no, I don't pawn your shit. Screw that. I'm gonna put my own destiny.
Yeah.
And I expect Paul doing that. Unfortunately, we had to win the hard way. I have to take over the galaxy because no one else is gonna do it. So screw it.
Yeah, he's got it like he has to do it.
Twist. And that's the government. What? Wait. I thought the plan was to free the plan. If the plan was with the good guy. Yeah, the good guy, but no, I even tried to go to backup plan and abandon my best friend, my love. Abandon everybody I love to basically destroy the asshole that killed everything. I wanted to die anyway, so screw him. And I had to become a monster. Which is kind of sad part of my thing, right? Like, you know that dog ending my thing. Punching any more dog I'd already fought, but this does raise the question. What is going with part 3? Because
changing Chani's outcome messes this up a bit, because you're like, well, I understand Zendaya is growing in stardom, and some people, they like her. I thought I liked her in Greatest Showman.
It doesn't matter what kind of stardom you have. Keep to the fucking story.
Keep to the story. Yeah, I don't like. This is how we got that Picard season 1, 2, and 3, where it's like, oh, I want to do this. Jean-Luc Picard. It's like, you're ruining Picard. It's tough.
My dad and I don't know who the characters were. They're like two female actresses from
Picard. Star Trek.
Yeah, Picard, the show.
It's awful.
My dad likes the show, of course, but he. What? I don't know. I haven't watched the show, but I remember I was at the panel with my dad, and I have a recording of it, but they just kept talking about gender politics and shit the whole fucking time. It was like
It's
kind of
like-
cringe, to be honest.
Nacho, it's one of my right. What? Because I see in 3. Skip.
I can't do
it.
I watched one episode in 10 minutes, and they ruined 7 of 9, who's one of my favorite Star Trek characters.
I know I shouldn't. I know
Not
I
7 of
shouldn't.
9. That is not 7 of 9.
I usually have a rule of not judging shows off of reviews ever, but
Unless
I
they're
did watch.
mine.
I did watch the Red Letter meet. Actually, kind of honestly, I take your word on a lot of things.
Well,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Don't
Don't watch.
watch-
Look, Red Letter Media. I like those guys for jokes and shtick,
Yeah,
but like they'll flip. They flip around
Oh,
whenever.
no, you're
I
right.
watch
I don't
the
agree.
video
I don't.
all the time.
I definitely don't agree with a lot of things they say. But from everything I saw from Picard, I think they're probably right.
Oh yeah, I think it is.
Ignore season 1, ignore season 2. Watch season 3. Season 3.
I don't even want to watch it, to be honest. I'm sorry. I have no interest at all.
No, I didn't like
I
season
haven't
3
even-
either.
I've
I
never
watched
even
one
watched.
episode though.
I've never even watched every single season of Next Generation, so I'd rather
Okay,
watch
so
that.
then skeptic, then that's it.
No,
man.
because I gotta finish that at least before fucking watching the shit. You know?
Watch all the real Star Treks.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
They're all good.
I
Lady-
did watch the original.
So you said, Professor Bill, that you saw or that you read and it ended up with Duncan being the Kwisatz Haderach. But like the way I perceive it, and this is reading the first 4 or whatever, is that I think that Leto is, and like Leto the second.
Yeah, Leo the second.
And I think because the reason why he became that disgusting worm or whatever is in the beginning. Well, who do they worship? Shai Hulud.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
he's like, he's like, I'll give you something to worship. I will become the object that you worship, and I will
love
give you this peace that you long for, and you'll see.
Yeah, I love it.
So, yeah, and the whole thing with the Kwisatz Haderach, why it got messed up, guys, is because that really Paul was supposed to be a girl.
Yes.
That was the plan.
Right,
And-
boy.
Wait, I'm sorry. Were you saying in the?
This is in the
story,
movie,
or-
skeptic. This
Hold
is
on,
said.
guys,
This is
just-
said in the movie.
Okay, I'm
So
sorry. I thought
I
you were
don't
talking
know-
about like changing him to a female. Like
No,
No.
Chill out.
No,
You're going too
okay,
far
I
with this
understand.
Okay,
stuff.
hold on. Okay,
Lady,
Bill.
just-
Go ahead, Bill.
Just really quick, it's not that I got anything. That's what I read in the books. That's where all of this is supposed to be leading, according to the Dune properties, according
Right.
to what
Yeah.
Frank Herbert laid out. I could care less who is in my opinion, the taking the golden path was a different way to go, and Paul decided that he didn't want to do that. You want to think that one was the true whatever, it is what it is. As far as the true Kwisatz Haderach, the point that you were going to make is that there is no Kwisatz Haderach.
Right.
Paul, what do you call it? Lady Jessica was not supposed to have a male. She was
Right.
only supposed to give females to
Right.
Duke Leto.
So it
But
was
but he wanted a boy, so she had a boy, and then she screwed everything up. So then Paul came along, and he was something that they'd never expected. So he was,
Right.
in some way, they originally said he was greater than the Kwisatz Haderach. Literally, Paul. So understand something about Frank Herbert. The guy is a scientist. And his whole, with all of his interviews that he's done, he pointed out the main character of the books, all of the books, is actually the planet Dune.
yes,
Right.
Arrakis.
because he was an ecologist.
that
He
makes
cared
sense.
very
Yes.
much.
Exactly.
about-
He didn't care about the characters.
No.
That's the reason why he was always like, oh, let me try the latest marketing gimmick scheme or whatever the hell it is that he was doing. Do you remember in Dune Messiah, they introduced the Dune tarot system?
No, I don't know what they.
It was like, oh, New Age is really popular right now. So you guys missed out on this great opportunity. I want you to start putting out Dune tarot cards for people to buy. And that's why we never saw them again, because they didn't do it. And he was like, fine, if you're not going to do it, then I'm not going to write about it.
I'll do it
So it was
myself.
literally a
would've
useless
bought them.
point. Yeah, I know you would have. It was a
I
completely
would never
useless
have.
point that he was trying to make to try and add into a story. Da 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 da. As far, or to go Seinfeld, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I literally look at it as Paul Atreides is the main character. He's the character that was written about. He's the character
Yeah,
who should have
he's the
been the
hero.
whole story, everything. You want to do the Golden Path thing? Fine. Show how that screwed up, because you showed how Paul screwed up.
Yeah, I think
I
because with
love
the
the
Golden Path
idea
thing,
of this.
it's
The idea
what
that
was-
eventually it wasn't any of them who screwed up. It was
Hmm.
the followers
No.
who screwed up.
I
Paul
think he
screwed
was
everything up.
prescience. I think that Leto saw prescience as a threat, and he said,
Prescience. You're saying prescience, right? The seeing the future.
"Yes,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
prescience."
So who saw that as a threat? Leto or Paul?
Yeah, prescience
Leto.
is PRES. It's pre-science. Prescience.
Prescience. Yes.
Prescience.
Okay, I don't. Whatever. Who doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not trying to get into a fight. I.
No, I know.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, go ahead.
I've heard it pronounced both ways, but it does. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So,
The underhanded jabs.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
sorry.
come on. What the heck? All right. You're so
the
Leto
threat
didn't.
was the ability to see.
The future.
So the Bene Gesserit could see people. They were a threat because, So what Leto's plan, he basically co-opted the Bene Gesserit plan and said, "Look, you just can't do this shit anymore because it's dumb, and I'm going to keep you very limited to it." And he created his own sort of Bene Gesserit plan, and it was based on his ability to monitor. And he said, "Look, you are special, Siona, because I can't monitor you. That means your path is not determined. That So this is what all humans need, and you need to use those genes to spread across, because this imposed peace that I've given to you, this is enslavement. You guys are all fucking miserable. Nobody gets to go anywhere, and that's because we're monitoring everything. And this is why governments are bad, why you shouldn't trust gods or governments completely."
Fight the man.
They do have, but that is so. A lot of that kind of theme is present in the movies. So they do.
Yeah,
get,
yes,
they definitely
Like,
get some themes. I'm not saying they're not getting any of the themes. So keep that in mind. So if you again for Steve, you haven't read the book, you'll go in, you'll be like, yeah, there's a lot of there. You'll see that there is like some depth to like, oh, they're exploring these themes, and this is really cool.
Yep.
My thing is that like I feel like you can explore those depths. Either you're going to go 2001: A Space Odyssey, and this entire thing is interpretation. You have to figure out what's going on. Nothing's given to you. Everything is what you take out of it. You either do that, or give me a straight up action picture. I'll have a lot of fun with this, and that's it. You can do both, but this movie tries really hard to be 2001 and doesn't make it, and that's where I'm at. Like, if you're going to be 2001, you're going to have to try to really do it. I'm trying to think of movies that attempted it and got close. Like I'm looking at Denis Villeneuve. I like Blade Runner 2049. I think
21. I mean, I love that movie.
So
what did you want to show us?
We were talking about this earlier, but so like what we want
Shame
from
they never made the third one.
So what we want from part 3, I think the pacing needs to be a lot fucking better. I think they've established pretty much. I don't know if they've established everything. I haven't read the book, but they've established a fuck ton. They just need to like get the pace a little better and just like have some fucking action. I don't know. That's just me though.
Have you ever seen The Last Picture Show, J-Man?
No, but I know of it. I just never watched it. I'm going to make a point to watch it since you bring it up, and I
Please
should
do.
watch that.
It seems
That's
like
one of my favorite movies.
Awesome. I'll watch it.
With question, I've seen part of this movie at the end, finish it, and okay, too much be I know the classic, but was this movie good or was it bad? Because
2010.
Yeah.
It's not really this is a bit weird. It's not really the book. I mean, they brought Hal back, and he's kind of neat, and they've got Sal or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie's okay. I mean, I own the movie because I own everything, so that's just me.
Nice.
The books were actually a trilogy, and it's a shame that that's what I was saying. It's a shame that the third one wasn't made, because it would have made the second one make so much more sense.
Because there's 2060 and then 3001.
You would have figured out what the monolith actually is.
Like,
yes,
no more speculation.
Wait a minute. Did 2001, 2010, 2061,
and
3001?
Yeah, so we have all the books in this house. I think they're on that shelf there. My wife read them all, liked them all. I love the Stanley Kubrick movie. I love, and I've seen it a bunch of times. When I first watched it, I thought it was awful.
I want to know.
I watched I watched it in film class. I was like, this is terrible. Yeah. And then everyone's like, well, this is a masterpiece. And usually when everyone tells me it's a masterpiece, I actually feel that I'm wrong. So I was like, okay, I must be wrong. I've missed something. So I watched it again. I was like, no, I don't think I missed anything. This isn't really that great.
It's so boring.
Then I read the book. Yeah, I read the book.
What movie?
2001: Space Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I read the book and I was like, oh, this book is the damn best. I'm like, wow, this is a genius. I'm like, okay, let me watch the movie again. Then I watched the movie again. I was like, oh my God, this movie's a masterpiece. Then I watched an 8-hour analysis by Rob Ager, who's this British guy who analyzes the living crowd. He did either a 3-hour or 4-hour analysis on C-3PO from Star Wars.
Right. There's a guy that does that on like Lord of the Rings characters, and I watched the shit out of it.
I love it. Yeah. I love. First of all, I love C-3PO. Also, I saved Anthony Daniels from falling and having a bad accident because he was doing a book tour. And he was walking around and he stood next to me, like he was walking around in the audience and he stood next to me and was talking like touching my leg. And as he was walking back, he tripped a bit. And I actually caught him. My buddy's like, you just like literally saved C-3PO. So anyways, I love C-3PO. But
he always did have problems walking.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Well, he was chopped in that. But 2001, I've watched it so many times. It's my second favorite movie. My first favorite movie is Conan the Barbarian, Schwarzenegger, because that movie
2001 is your second favorite movie?
Yes.
I can understand
despising it on your first two.
Yes.
Hey, I understand that. I never really got the whole thing on Ghostbusters until my second viewing. I get it.
Well, I'm going to watch this again too. Again, I'm going to get this on 4K. I'm going to rewatch. It's Dune, so I put it in the Dune collection. I'm going to watch it again. I don't hate it. My thing is that I'm reacting to everyone saying it's a masterpiece and saying, whoa, I don't know about masterpiece. Just say that was a really cool movie. I thought it was really neat. That's it. Like, I don't think it's a master. Like, it ain't, I don't know.
So I could say, this is what I would say in terms of trying to make that equivocation. It's beautifully made in terms of aesthetics. So you think of Christopher Nolan's, I think aesthetically that Villeneuve puts out a similar product because he very much cares about the way it looks and feels. However, I just saw the contents. Guys, what are the content? But that's me having been
a meltdown.
So hold on, Lady Fantastic. Do you rate movie? I don't know. Like, do you give a rating or do you just?
I mean, I could, but I think it's arbitrary to me. I mean, you want me to rate a movie? I'll tell you. If
I'm just saying. Like, did you like? So you're not saying it's a masterpiece. You're saying that it's not that great.
Are you saying it's bad?
I'm saying it's beautiful. Okay. I'm saying the content is maybe about 60% loyal to the book, and as a comic fan that's loved seeing things get translated to theater eventually, I appreciate it and I'm thankful that it exists and I will see it. But for me, it's how well can they translate it and did they get the spirit of? And I very much felt like Jackson got the spirit of Lord of the Rings. And that's why it was like, oh, baby. And I didn't feel that as strongly with this. That's just my take.
I agree. No, I agree. I don't think it's 60% the book. I think it's like 30% the book by like.
So I'm being generous, huh?
You're being like, I'm like, my thing is
they left out.
Yeah, they sucked out. Okay, here's I'll give you the easiest way to say this. They sucked out so much of it that I'm surprised this is 2 hours and 50 minutes. I'm like, how is this 2 hours?
I honestly, out of it. I 100% agree with you, J-Man, that the part 2 and part 1 should have been just one fucking movie.
One movie.
Maybe a 3-hour movie. Maybe,
yes,
but like
3 hour one movie. I think it could have done it.
Hollywood would not allow that to happen.
A lot of it is just like it just feels like a lot of padding. I don't know.
They can't adapt. Hold on. Let me phrase it this way. They cannot adapt the first Dune book in a 3-hour movie. That can't happen.
They can't adapt it, period, because it's so much in the head. It's internal dialogue.
It's too condensed.
But the adaptation that we did get does not need to be 5 hours. There is repetitive, like when they talk, Chani and Paul have the same conversation for several scenes. It's like this. I was like, you'd already discussed this.
No,
and they discussed it again.
You said, like, just a little stupid looking off in the distance and like,
like, like, oh, my dreams. I had these dreams, and they show the dreams. Then he says, I had the dreams, and they show the dreams again. Like, I got it.
It's the
You
movie
have
of
dreams.
whispers.
You shouldn't
Like
put the
random
information down like more than maybe 2 times at most. Put the information down once or twice. Do not put it 5 times. Jesus.
I think
There's-
that when you said it yourself, Jay, and I think somebody else agreed with you besides me, when they said the people who say that a movie can't be adapted, you don't believe them. And I agree with that also. Lady, look, you and I think, have the same exact love for the books. I mean, they're amazing. To say they can't be adapted, I think it's the idea that, to
You
put
know
it
what?
fair
Let
movie.
me put another word. So you're right. You can adapt, and I'm going to put the qualifier on the end. Exactly. It's faithfully a faithful
faithful adaptation.
You can't adapt it completely.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
true.
for me, I feel like this is a body of work that someone like you or like people that really love this literature, they need to be consultants, and then they need to, like they can't just be handing these things, to.
I think that's
randos.
standard with anything.
That's
They need to
what
call. They need to call me for
translated.
He-Man,
Oh my
and
God.
Superman. They need to. James Gunn has not called me for
Batman.
Superman. That will not be a good movie.
You
I
know
guarantee
what
you.
I'm
He has
saying.
not called me.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see.
You're being silly now.
That could be good.
So look,
Maybe.
I think that it could be adapted better if we simply understood the importance of certain scenes and certain characters. Case in point, we've mentioned how almost every single time, aside from the David Lynch movie, Thufir Hawat was never really put into the movie.
And he's such a
faithfully.
good character.
Here's the most important. So Thufir Hawat can explain the Mentats better than anything, which will explain Piter, which will explain why Baron Harkonnen is who he is and won't kill Piter, right? But he wants Thufir. You know what else Thufir can explain? Thufir can explain the Spacing Guild.
Yes.
Here's somebody else
what?
that he can explain.
What's
He
the
can
Spacing
explain the
Guild?
Bene Gesserits with one scene. A
He
scene that
could've-
happened in the book, which never happened in any of the translations that I've seen. Here is Thufir sitting down with Lady Jessica, because there's the assumption that maybe she's actually the one who's the
he
bad
can't
guy,
get
the
his,
traitor.
he thinks she is.
He could have
Yeah.
very simply.
I'm confused.
Guys, stop. Just let me. I don't do the jumping and all that nonsense. I don't do that. So with all due respect, shut the fuck up. I'm talking. Love you all. So anyway, so the idea that he was sitting down, this is for the audience, they sat down with her, just these two, and Thufir's thinking, I'm the smartest guy in the world, in the universe, right? Like, bring it on, right? And he's thinking, I got the guards right outside. They could kick your ass. They could do all this thing. Bring the noise. Let's go, JD. I'm gonna sit there and take care of you. And what does Lady Jessica do? She's calm, cool, collective, lets it all go. You want to talk about woman empowerment? There is no greater woman empowerment in all of literature, F. Gloria Steinman, than freaking Lady Jessica and Gyna Mohinus. Right?
She's a bad
These
bee.
are just the most amazing
They're
freaking
rock
females
stars.
ever written in history. She sits there and she uses the voice to control Thufir, and he sits there and says, "You have this power?" She says, "You have no idea what other powers I've got."
Yeah.
And
She's
he's like,
awesome.
"You could control everything. You could end wars."
Yeah, but she's like, this is
And
not
she
how
says,
we
"But
play."
why
That's right.
would we? That's not what we're here to do.
That's right.
I'm here to help you." And he has more respect for her than he's ever had for anyone, probably including Duke Leto.
Right.
Because
And he
she
just
knows
like,
what it is.
and
to
so
help.
this explains the Bene Gesserit better than any scene that
Right.
I've seen in any other movie ever. And they've never adapted that one scene.
I want to ask. Okay, so Tevya had brought up a few points that are super interesting to me. So you're unsure of the Spacing Guild, which how can there be 5 hours of Dune footage and the Spacing Guild is not? It's like they're everything. You literally can't do anything without
They're
them.
an opening crawl.
I know. They're in one
That's all
set.
they get.
That's all they get. And here's the other thing too with
Or the engineers,
but like it's like so and again, Huey, he's just in this movie, in part one, he just betrays the house. It's like Thufir is a mentat, so he's a supercomputer. He's basically a human computer. why doesn't he think, oh, Huey is the problem? Because you cannot break the conditioning of Huey, but Harkonnen is so smart, he got around that conditioning and was able to break him. That shows Harkonnen being awesome. That shows that even the Mentats can F up because they're still going by logic, right? And logic can fail. It's like
no, it was emotional. That's how he got him. Because so it wasn't logic based.
No. I'm saying Thufir's logic failed because he didn't suspect that Huey could be the traitor. He was thinking it was Jessica. Okay. So his logic failed him.
He trusted.
Yeah, I thought you meant Huey.
No, not Huey. No.
Like he betrayed it because it was an emotional connection.
Yeah, it's emotional thing.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. But you're right though. So it's like it shows that part shows a lot, but in the movie it's just like 2 seconds. Okay, he betrayed them. Here you go. Like, and I'm like, that's it for that guy. I'm like, but that was okay. Now again, if it's a 2.5 hour movie, if we're watching a 2.5 hour, 3 hour movie, you can't have all this. You have to strip away things. However, this is 5 hours. There's 5 hours, and I still don't really know what the I know what the spice is, but I don't really know
in the second movie where Gurney Halleck attempted to see. I'm okay with correcting my pronunciation. Attempted to assassinate the Betty. What do you call it, Lady Jessica?
Yes.
Was that in there? Because the idea that everybody was against Lady Jessica.
No, that is definitely not in there. I don't think.
What a damn missed opportunity that was. Right?
Yeah, that was
so much of this. Nobody trusted the Lady Jessica. And she's the only one in the entire movie who lived, who actually had logical thinking the whole time, was calm, cool, and collected the whole time. There were things she was like, don't do this, don't do that. Oh, I was wrong. But still, you understand why I said it, right? Do this. See, I was right. Oh, we're going to go with this. Oh, Paul, do I believe that you're actually the Kwisatz Haderach? No, I don't. But I'm going to try and keep you and I alive. Right?
That's in there.
But she was literally the smartest character. She played everything as best she could. She was not manipulative, although she manipulated, right?
Yes.
She was not OP, although she could have killed everybody, right? Like, she was the most important character for that entire movie. And the idea that they didn't put enough emphasis on her, it just didn't make sense. The only reason why Paul became who he was right?
Because
you already got the leadership he got from his father, his reasoning, all that stuff. But the weirding way, the ability, they really showed it in his ability to use the voice, which is the hardest thing to do for the Betty Gesserits, right? Like, she was so crucial to his development in becoming what he eventually became, the actual hero of the book. And I don't think that again, I didn't see the second movie, but
they do expand her role.
They do expand her role.
She's much and this is the thing. This is the thing with this movie. It's so weird. They expanded her role in a different way than they could have used her to. It's almost like they could have used her the way she was in the book, but they kind of used her in an alternate way that expanded her role, but then wasn't really what she was doing. So it's just weird. You got to watch the movie.
Yeah,
it's tough. You got to kind of watch it and then just take it in. It's weird. Like, she does a lot more, but she's going around to different sietches and hyping up Paul. Like she's like the hype train. She's hyping up Paul, and she's going around and saying, "Oh, he's the chosen one. You got to believe in him. We've seen him now." And because there is that faction that doesn't believe, that young faction that doesn't believe in it.
I don't know. From you telling me this, I could get that, but then again, I don't know that I believe I like that.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole idea was that the Fremen had to see it on their own.
Yeah, that's why I don't. It's weird.
That's all anybody saw, and that's the reason why. What was the guy? I can't remember the guy's name. Lady, maybe you can help me out with it. The guy who tried to kill Paul. They had the duel.
Oh, no. The Fremen. The first.
Jameer. So it started with a J.
Yeah, something was a friend of mine.
Jamis.
Yeah.
Jamis.
Thank you. Yes, that was it. Jamis was a friend of mine. He shed water. He gave the water.
Yeah. Right? That was in the movie.
That was the only kid, and he was a kid who didn't believe or care about the prophecy.
Yes.
Right? He was all about
nonsense.
That was in the first movie. That was clear even to non book readers that was clear with that character.
Not in the movie though, was that there were skeptics that were like in the South, or like the actually the intense people, the 40 fanatics were like
the Jacobin.
Yeah, so in the city part, they don't believe, as you know. So there are different populations, and here it's made to think that they're more. Well, I guess it's fair. They do a fairly good job of saying that it's kind of a
prophecy that
heterogeneous population in terms of really believing if he's the
he's the chosen one.
Say whatever.
Yeah, they like it's just weird to me because they have things in the movie
that's different in the book. She believes and helps him in the book, right?
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, what was the like? I don't understand the point of changing it.
She kills lesser people who try to go after Paul.
Yeah.
I think I think Denis Villeneuve thought genuinely that he was taking Chani and making this a more interesting and better role for her. But I think it weakened the character because I think that to put aside your jealousies or whatever of marrying someone else and just saying, look, I've got to stick with Paul. I love him. He needs me. I will play Lady Jessica. I will play that role for him and save the Fremen, save the planet.
Yep.
And you know what? It's going to make me feel weird that he's married to this other girl.
World savior.
Yeah, I've got to do it. But in this movie, they expanded her role to say that she's like, well, no, I'm not going to kind of stand for this. I'm going to go off on my own. And I'm like, but that is weird.
But you know the difference between she and Jessica, right? Jessica's a Bene Gesserit.
Yeah,
she's brilliant. She doesn't have the insight, the foresight, the intuitive.
To the future.
No, she does. She does it. I thought Irulan was strong in this this part too because like she doesn't want to go with it. Well, first nobody
she's not in the books. She's just a pawn.
Right, but she was a pawn here. But I was just gonna say she doesn't want to marry that skinny Shamalot guy. She doesn't want to marry that skinny.
She don't marry that psycho.
Just to clarify for the people who didn't read the book who are at home, Lady Jessica, Irulan appeared only at the very end, but her quotes were
throughout
in the beginning of every chapter. Yeah, so you got the idea that there was a Lady Irulan, and then you understood her role in the end of it and why she was able to give quotes as it went on. So, which I think was just it made Dune the most impressive book I'd ever read. That in 1984.
Well, Steve wanted.
I was just going to say goodbye to everybody because I have to jam out. But it was great seeing everyone again.
Thank you.
And thanks for this. It was awesome.
Steve, I have not read your comic book yet. I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
But I've got it in my. Well, I said to you once before, I don't review comic books I don't like. I didn't want you to think that I just didn't like it. No, I didn't read it.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm
Issues 2 and 3 are out. I've got the link to his channel in the description of this video. I've already pre-ordered my issues 2 and 3, so hopefully you guys check that out in the chat. So,
and I'm totally looking forward to having another conversation like this again.
And we'll do it as soon as you got 2 and 3 out. We're gonna talk about it. We'll talk about other stuff too, about whatever.
Yeah,
any other movies. All right, man.
Take care, everyone.
Local creator.
Steve, congrats on your comic.
All right, thank you. Man. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.
See ya.
Did you guys see the interview that Scott Snyder did, where he talks about you guys just don't understand the importance of the black suit for Superman because, like, the suit and he was in the black suit and what it meant and da. But he never actually...
Bill. Are you talking about Zack Snyder? You just called him Scott.
I always do that. So understand my cognitive.
You do it all the time.
That's fine, man.
So listen, I'm gonna snipe you if you're wrong. Just like get the name. Oh no!
Let's go. I will nerf your ass anyway.
I've got a water bottle with poop on it, so I'll...
Okay. Anyway, so when he keeps on saying that, like, yeah, man, like you don't get, like, you got to understand the importance of and what it represents in the symbology of the black suit. Yeah. He never actually explains what that is, though, because those of us who actually read the death and rebirth of Superman, the black suit was just simply what he was buried in. It didn't mean anything.
Yeah, who cares?
It was literally nothing. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, sometimes you could be a freaking con man. And Scott Snyder, Zack Snyder, in my opinion, is a really great con man for these movies specifically. I don't know that I haven't
He's a
seen
hype
enough
man.
interviews. Yeah. Well, honestly, specifically a con man. Like
Yes.
you're acting like you know what you're talking about. And
Well,
either
you
you're
really have
lying or you
confidence in
just
the product, and the product shit.
Yeah.
Well, there's never been
Whether it's good or not, it's the idea. It's like you're trying to make it bigger than it is based on lies that you're not even giving, answers about. But the idea is that I don't know if Villeneuve is doing the same thing or not, because I don't watch interviews for the Dune movie, because I knew I was never going to believe that any movie that's going to come out is going to be equal to the book. I really genuinely am a purist. I'm not a gatekeeper, but I am absolutely a purist. And I say, listen,
No,
I suggest reading the book, the first book at the very least. I suggest reading that book just
I
so that
respect
you
that.
get the story, because it really is one of the greatest stories ever
Oh, it's
told.
so great.
Right?
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So it was actually a mini prerequisite for my wife to marry me. I'm like, listen, I don't know that I can marry you if you're not going to read
Babe,
this
you
book. And
gotta
she
like
read it. She's like,
Dune.
boom.
Or you
That's what
gotta
I didn't care if she liked
Yeah.
it. She had to actually read it though. But like my whole
Damn.
point was, like with Villeneuve, I feel like he's got that sense like Snyder does, that he likes the book, but he only likes it for certain reasons, but he doesn't really get the product. He doesn't get the book, and
I
he's
think a
trying to
lot
do
of
certain
directors are
things.
like that.
Wait,
Agreed. I fully
question.
agree. The idea,
agree with
back to
that.
Snyder again. How Snyder made Rorschach look like a hero is beyond me.
Wait,
So
why?
even
He's a
more, it's like,
monster.
you're an idiot.
What's happening?
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't think that this guy actually understands the characters
Yes.
in Dune or the story itself. That's just where I stand after having seen that first movie.
Question. Okay, this is a book here. Okay, again, I never read the book. I don't care about it. Sorry, I know book peers. Okay, here we do, but I don't hear the book. But
It's fun.
I put in my read for movie for me. This movie was a way better actually than Dune. The last movie. The last movie, the 1980 was bad. Was fit back. The
1984 movie?
Yeah.
I didn't mind
I
it.
always hear people say that. The only thing I didn't like about the first movie, considering the time, was that they screwed up the weirding way, and they
Yeah,
made
it's like a sonic
Yeah.
gun or something.
Yeah,
That was
it's the
weird.
sonic gun as
Yeah, it
opposed
was
to
weird.
That
the
was
ability
so-
to move really
Like
fast.
why?
That's the
Yeah.
only thing I didn't
That was
like
so
about actually
weird.
that I hate.
What was the
it
point
about
of
the
it?
movie. There was
Why?
nothing else. Whenever
What
he
were
said
they
it was
on
absolute trash,
when-
I don't understand what was
And they
trash about
thought
the
this
movie.
is a good idea.
Yeah.
I've been
Aside from the weirding way screw up, I don't know what was so bad about the David Lynch film. I thought it was brilliant.
I thought
I
they
think
went
about-
a little too over with the Baron, but other
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah, I remember
thought,
you saying that.
He's
Which
a bit
okay, I can
goofy.
see it. I disagree, but respectfully,
I thought the still
disagree.
suits were brilliant. They
Yep.
were
Yes.
absolutely what I imagined. Like it was that. So yeah, I think Lynch
Yeah.
did what he could with the time
They
that
had
he had.
the best
Yeah.
actors available for it. Like you had Picard as Gertie Halleck. And like that scene, I dare anybody to actually watch this movie and to go and see when they're fighting on the battlefield. It's like, is that young Paul Atreides? Are you alive? Is that really you? Come here, my boy. And he's like, yes, Gertie, it's me. And it's like, oh my God. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, the guy who played Paul, how is this guy not one of the biggest actors ever? What happened? Because I thought he was so good in that.
Well, he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Daisy's.
Yeah,
as
which
what's her
wasn't
name?
great. He was also in Sex in the City as a guy who didn't want to have sex with like the hottest chick in the freaking thing. I mean, like, what the heck was going on? Like, what
I
happened
didn't
to
watch
this
that
guy?
show, so I don't know.
I had a girlfriend who I watched it with. Deal with it.
I don't know if I can deal with it though. I might have to die. I don't know. I can't deal with it. Here, I'm giving you the Brigadier.
That's okay.
That's Doctor Who. I don't know if there's any Doctor Who people out there.
Oh, I do what I do. But,
No, that's the one with the Twi'leks, right?
Oh
look
my
myself
God,
out.
Bill! I'm gonna have you have to. I'm throwing in Art the Clown on you, buddy.
Oh, jeez.
oh God!
What's up, bud?
God, that's creepy.
I'd whoop that.
I think I'll lose everybody with Terrifier. I think I'm gonna lose the entire panel with the Terrifier.
Yeah.
movies.
I gotta watch that. I gotta watch it.
Well, then
I know you're infatuated with it. I gotta
love
watch
it. I've met all the actors from both part 1 and part 2.
I actually
the
did
director.
also at the Comic Cons. I walked up, hey, how you doing? What's going on? I'm so glad you guys made this movie. It's a really good movie. I never actually seen the movie though, but
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Some people were saying it would have been cool because I heard that casting of Walken was a bit of a miscast, and
Which
some
one?
people for the Emperor.
Oh, look
for
at Lady Fantastic getting back to the subject at hand. Jeez.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
way off
Good
topic.
on you.
Sorry, and
Yeah, I heard Christopher Walken was in the second movie.
and
He did a good
some
job.
people had suggested, well, maybe we should try and get like Patrick Stewart to play the Emperor as like a nod to him, from the original one. And then I heard other people saying that little girl that played Alia from the original, but hilarious. They got her to play Jessica.
that's what's her name.
I can't remember her name right now.
Yeah, was she in Final Destination or?
She's a
no?
little.
Was it Final Destination? I don't remember. There's like 5 movies of that saga.
I would have liked to see Sean Young.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's a good actress.
What the hell's that girl's? Yeah, I know the girl from.
Yeah.
What the hell's her name?
Don't remember because again, they go with a train wreck. They get to be better movie. Try to come too much.
They did have the lady. I don't know if anyone is a fan of Zardoz.
Is this Danielle Amieveva?
No, that's not her. It's
Why aren't they showing the original?
Yeah, that's her. It's Danielle Amavia.
Yeah.
Oh, is that one? Oh wait. Then we're talking about something. Then I'm thinking of someone else.
Oh wait, maybe I'm wrong. Who's
Alicia Witt is Alia. That's it.
Alicia Witt
in the original one.
Yeah, and she was in. What was she in that I watched her in Urban Legend? That's right. I knew she was in one of those cheesy.
I watched Urban Legend in theaters.
Yeah, she's the main girl.
She's a little too old, I guess, right now to play. Because I think that the cast for Jessica should be around about 35.
She could have played Mohiam Gaius.
So that actress is from Zardoz. I don't know if anyone's a fan of Zardoz with Sean Connery.
I know what it is.
Oh, I love it. Bill, have you seen Zardoz?
I haven't.
Oh, everyone needs to look up Zardoz.
What is happening with Nitro?
Joe, are you okay?
Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted.
I think that Terrifier came in there and got him.
Sorry.
Well, everyone look up Zardoz and watch it ASAP. And while you're watching it, think to yourself, J-Man legitimately, not as a joke, loves this movie. I've read the novel. It's John Borman, so you know what you're getting into. Well, he did Excalibur, and Excalibur.
Oh my God, I know this with Sean Connery. Yes, the outfit.
No, I love it. I made little characters for it. I made like a whole line of characters. I make little characters. I make little paper craft characters. I did, and I've done Paul Atreides from the old Dune, and I did Baron Harkonnen.
Cool.
But look up Zardoz.
He looks like freaking Vampirilla.
It's Vampirilla's costume, yeah. But it's a guy. It's a male. It's a male wearing Vampirilla's costume.
Oh, it's funny.
It's okay, so Bill. Don't worry about it. He wears it the entire movie, so you're totally fine. It's literally the entire movie. So it's
amazing.
If a chick acts up, does he give her a little smuck?
No. So my friend was making fun of me. I said, "Can you watch the movie and be serious about it? Don't be a goof." And he's like, "I like the story." I was like, "It is very good."
He looks like one of the Hawkmen from Flash Gordon.
I love Flash Gordon. That's top 10 favorite movies of all. That's a top 10 favorite movie of all time. Flash Gordon.
How did they not have Qatar Hall in that?
Hawkman, DC.
Nice. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta.
Yeah, I'm gonna end off soon too. All right, lady, fantastic. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, nice meeting you guys. Take care.
Good talking to you. Hope to talk to you again.
See ya. Bye.
Yeah. Night. So what do you think about rating episode? No ratings.
Well, I reviewed it on my channel. I gave it a 5 out of 10, which means it's a pass. A 5 out of 10 means like it was okay. It's kind of a pass. Like if I give a 10 out of 10, that's like wow. And I don't rate movies. So like if I give, like, if we're talking about Die Hard, like what's an action movie for you that's 10 out of 10? Like would we say that Die Hard?
Impossible. The Matrix movie.
Okay, so Matrix. Let's say Matrix. Would you call that a 10 out of 10, Bill?
Yeah,
I would. Yeah.
10, okay. So if that's a 10 out of 10, I'm not comparing the Terrifier with with Matrix, right? Matrix is a
Yeah.
genre. It has its
sci-fi,
competitors.
action.
Or the first Pitch Black movie. God,
What?
that was
I like
such
Pitch
a
Black.
good movie.
Perfection. I love that movie.
I like Pitch Black. That was
Amazing.
I
awesome.
like it too. Oh, not just Pitch Black, but it's Riddick.
Riddick is good too.
Pitch Black. I love Riddick.
I like Riddick.
Riddick is not that great, but he's a bit.
I have Riddick on DVD. I've never seen it.
But you want to the family cut. George could follow that movie by me. It could do it.
No, yeah, I like Chronicles of Riddick, and I didn't mind the third one either. Like that was
I
not
love
too.
the food was awesome. I love that movie. Movie.
So I don't compare it that way. So if I would say Die Hard 1 is like a 10. I would say Matrix 1 is pretty. So I'm comparing. So Dune is being compared to other like epic fantasy sci-fi films, and that's why it's not like if Lord of the Rings is your highest, or Conan the Barbarian is our highest, and whatever, then this is not going to be that high. But I'm also comparing it to.
I see what you're doing, but you got to remember the biggest one they keep on comparing that to was Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
And Star Wars is 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
and,
I never got. I'm trying to understand why people think that, like, because I've always heard people say Dune is like a mature Star Wars. I'm like,
well, the book
Dune came first.
The book is it's a mature Star Wars.
Yeah, in fact, you could clearly see that George Lucas stole many ideas from Dune.
He pretty inspired from Dune.
Sure.
I noticed in the movie the whispering or whatever the fuck that was. Like controlling and shit.
Like
kind of it's
almost
like the Force in a way.
It's all in a desert. They even use spice, like Han Solo was smuggling spice. Like it's one of those things where it's like it's not inspired. There are things that are flat out.
They literally
say
spice
from here and put this in your own movie. Like there was no
well,
reason for there to be spice
have you ever
in the
played
movie.
Star Wars Jedi Knight Academy?
Yeah, I love that game.
Yes.
Do you
remember? Do you remember the like at the beginning of the game? There's a level where you got to rescue some people that like crashed, and they're on a sand planet, and there's this giant fucking like sandworm that eats them. That they totally fucking took inspiration from Dune for that.
I mean,
what is this inspiration crap? You know the difference between inspiration and stealing, right?
Okay, yeah.
There we go.
No, you're right. Stealing, and then there's,
remember in did anyone watch the Elvira movie where she's like, this is the part in the show where I ripped off, it was inspired by Flashdance?
No, never seen it.
And then she
dropped in the dark.
I love Elvira. But anyway, no, my other thing is like, I don't just compare it to its genre, I compare it to itself. When you're using the name Dune, there's a level of expectation that is placed on that, either with trailers. Every movie trailer or movie is a promise. It's a promise to you to deliver on what they're saying they're going to deliver. So, for example, if you're watching Return of the Swamp Thing, which is a great example, it's like they're promising you something through the trailer, through the ads, the poster. They're like, this is going to be a cheeseball movie. This is not going to be Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. That's not happening. This is going to be a cheeseball movie. Did they deliver on that? Yes, they did. Then I rate how well they delivered on their promise. So
that's great. Did you ever see the trailer for Highlander 3?
Yes.
Where he's in the cave.
Final. I know. I've got it.
And Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah, Mario Van Peebles.
Well, I know you do. Well, once you said yes, I know you do. But also for the your audience, right?
Yep.
So, there was so much. Actually, no, it wasn't even that one. No, it was the fourth one, the one that Edge was in.
Yeah, and I saw that in the theater.
Guy Joy did. Yeah, I did also, because the trailer was amazing. They had the scene where they were both jumping through a portal in the trailer, and they were doing all these different scenes, but those scenes never showed up in the movie. Almost nothing. You go and look at the original trailer for that movie, and then watch the movie. You'd be like,
yes.
There were like maybe 4 scenes, maybe I'm being generous, 4 scenes from the trailer that made it to the movie. All these things, like, what happened?
That's kind of like
there's a thing that there is something that happened. That entire movie was destroyed. I've got a 2-disc collector's, I think it's numbered edition of Highlander Endgame.
Okay.
And I remember I saw in the theater, I'm like, this isn't even the same movie. Like, what is? And yeah, 2 or 3, maybe not even 2 or 3 scenes. You're like, this isn't, what movie is this? Like, this is not even remotely close.
What's going on?
Yeah, like it's not even. You know how sometimes you see a trailer, because trailers are cut before the final, and you see a scene, you're like, hey, that wasn't in the movie. You know, this is
Rogue
like
One.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like Rogue One, yeah.
Well,
but
Rogue One, but also what's another trailer did that recently?
oh, there's so many because Rogue One got lots of re-edits and stuff like that.
Rogue One, I love Rogue One.
No, but guys, no, no. What Bill is saying, the entire trailer is not at all like you're like none of this is in like maybe one.
Give me Spider one. Like that scene missing by that movie. Like the one, like the scene where you want the true Peter come again. That's not in the movie. Like what?
That's fine.
So what did they explain why that was the case?
It completely got re-edited and changed up. I think production people changed on it. It's something weird. I don't remember now. It's too long ago, and I haven't watched it since I bought it on DVD, like when it came out from the theater.
I'd be interested in buying that set just to be able to find out more about that. It's one of those things that piques my curiosity, and I do love directors' commentaries.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a weird one. But yeah, so I'm looking at the promise, number one, and then also comparatively, like, so it's like, you know, what am I looking at? And I don't want to say one's better than the other because to me, like, what's like, again, Terrifier 2 is a 10 out of 10 grotesque slasher gore fest. Really? And you know, because it's exactly what it is. It's like that. It is super ultra violent to the silly extreme. Like it's silly. Like there's a murder scene that goes on for like 5. I'm like, oh my god, this woman is dead. Like how is she still?
Yeah,
like,
how is she still alive?
How is she still alive?
Was
but
she just getting stabbed over and over again or something?
I mean,
she gets. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it because I actually will go and watch these movies.
There's at least 7 things that happen to her that are all like I'm like if just 2 of these things happen that would have been good enough, but no, let's just make it
seems like a comedy, like Home Alone or some shit.
It's just like, but no, again, it's crazy, right? So but if you want to see that kind of movie, that you know, like Evil Dead, I love all 3 Evil Dead movies.
I love it movies.
So I love all of those. But again, if you're in the mood for Evil Dead, that doesn't mean you're going to watch Dune. So I'm not comparing those two. I'm like, if you're in the mood for Dune and you know what Dune is and you watch the trailers, it looks like epic, but you're watching, you're like, it doesn't feel epic. It feels like nothing's happening. That's my main problem. You're like watching it and you're like, well, nothing's going on here. And because I read the books, it's like, I know that there's a lot of stuff in the books that you're not doing. And I'm thinking, if you're going to suck everything out of it, why are you giving me extended scenes of them talking about the same things over and over again when instead of you can have one scene where you discuss if he's the chosen one, then have another scene with Liet Kynes, then have another scene with Thufir, have another scene with Jessica. But if you're going to remove those scenes, all you've done was extended things that were already explained. And Bill, I promise you, watch this movie, you're going to be like, you're going to watch this scene, you're like, oh, okay, that was cool. And then it's like another scene. I'm like, I just saw this. There's about 3 or 4 scenes that so it's like Chani and him questioning it. Then it goes to Jessica going around talking. Then it goes to them questioning again. And it's like they just keep repeating like a pattern. Yeah. And you're like, well, I saw this scene 3 scenes ago and they explained it. Like, for example, there's like the crawlers. They're going set crawlers, whatever. I'm using Star Wars terms. So sorry, but so they're collecting the spice. And then the Fremen are attacking it. So this is what happens in a normal movie. They attack one. It's like this epic battle. They come and attack it. They take it down. They and then the next scene would be either Raban or Fade or Harkonnen. Someone saying, "Damn it, that's the 5th one they nailed this week." Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like someone would say, "That's the 5th time this week." But instead, they keep showing you more. I'm like, but I don't need to see any more of these. I get it. You're destroying their shit. Like
it's so cool.
Like show me another scene of something you took out. My problem is that they took out so much and didn't replace it with anything. It's just extending things.
What's that? Sorry, Nitro's commenting in the thing like I got it because it looks like there's no
I get it.
Left of this.
No,
I've actually got it. Yeah, I've actually got it. It's connected down here. My computer is down here, and then I've got it wrapped around this hook that's over here, so that I can do things with my hands. And
I get you. I get you. It just looked like your headphone wire was so fucking tight.
I know. It's all good.
All right, guys. I just want to check the poll, and then we're going to wrap it up because I got a
While you're checking the poll, you asked a question that I didn't get the chance to answer. You asked how could part 3 be better? How would I? What would I do
yes, go ahead,
the
answer that.
3rd one, and I forgot what the answer was. No. So do you remember when Peter Jackson was talking about with the Lord of the Rings movies?
Yeah.
He said, I didn't have a script. Instead, I had the Lord of the Rings books. I specifically had the Fellowship of the Ring book, and they said, "This is your script." And they had to read through the book and boo, 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 and that was their script. And I thought, no wonder these 3 movies are the greatest movies that I've probably ever seen. You want to talk about 10 out of 10? I don't think that any movies have really been made like The Lord of the Rings since The Lord of the Rings. That's how good those movies were. That being said, with the Hobbit movies, much as you like them, and all respect, you have
I like them too.
They clearly, Peter Jackson clearly walked up to them, saw them already pulling out the books, and said, "Nope, I'll take those. You will not read those. We will not be looking at the books at all for these books." You get what I'm saying, right?
That's a smart decision.
I get it.
So I think that if they were to simply say, "Look, here's your script, here's the books, I bought them for you," I think that would be the way to do it. But any other way, nah.
And just to comment back on the Hobbit thing, he inserted extra stuff.
Yeah.
Here's what happened with Dune. They removed stuff and didn't replace it. Hobbit, they had everything. They're like, oh, let's just keep adding more and expanding it. So, and so to some people, it's too much. But to me, if they expanded it with cool things, like I found that Bard in the book sort of comes in out of nowhere and then saves the day. Like, well, this guy kind of came. So instead, they gave him they gave him a little of a story, and he came in a little bit earlier and you learned more about him. So I thought, oh, I like Bard. He's cool. Like, I don't feel like if they would have removed stuff and then added stuff, then I'd be like, oh, F this. Like, you don't need to.
F this shit, I'm out.
Right, but they kept everything. They just added more, and what they added was cool. Dune, they removed stuff, changed stuff, and you're like, the changes you made are wrong. I don't like, and you removed stuff that I thought would have been cool, and you replaced it with just longer shots of things that don't matter. That's my problem, and I think that's the fairest way. And for people who haven't read it, they're just watching this, be like, wow, this is epic. But I also think that sometimes if movies are long and slow, people now feel the need to pretend that there's more going on than there is going on. Right? Like it's like, oh, this is so deep. I'm like, why? Because it's just them discussing stuff. It's like, but what is the quality of what they're discussing? Paul is unsure that he's the chosen one. Fine, that's fair. Chani doesn't believe in the idea of a chosen one. But this conversation doesn't need to be played out over several scenes in a film.
Him then?
Right. It's like, I love you, but I don't believe you. It's just weird. Right. It's weird. It's weird.
It's to me, it seems like the the thing in fucking TV shows. Oh, are we going to be together or not? Type thing. Like,
but TV show, the problem with them, they get too oversaturated. Not with you. They get so stretched out to the point. Just get that point already. We can't wait this one. Like the Flat TV show shit. What's the Flat TV show?
It's like the CW. This Dune movie is the CW. I mean, it's better budget, obviously, but it's the CW.
So I'm wondering though, like since she left though, like what do you have any idea what she's going to do then in the next one?
My theory is she's gonna try to save a trade. She's gonna try to save him because let's face it, this war is gonna try a lot of shit.
When I watched it, I was thinking maybe in the third one she'd come back out of revenge or something, and like she'd be an enemy towards him or something.
I can see that being the case.
See, Bill, this is what they're thinking because of how it's presented in them.
Yeah,
this is okay. So it wasn't okay. So when Tevye, when you were talking early, like 20 minutes ago about things in Dune, and Tevye was like, oh, I don't know what the Spacing Guild is. I don't know what and I'm like, there's at least 3 or 4 things I could see. I was watching you, and you're like, I don't know what any of this stuff is. I'm thinking, there's 5 hours of Dune footage, and the fellow underneath you doesn't know what any of the how can that be? So let me give you an example. So that's like, I just watched Endgame. Then you say, wow, what did you think of Captain America? Who's Captain America?
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be weird?
Right? Like, so J-Man, I was talking about that when I was muted with a buddy of mine about how well paced. I think even with all the problems I have with Endgame, it's so well paced, and that's kind of. I know you're definitely going to probably disagree with this, but I thought for 4 fucking hours, Zack Snyder's Justice League was very well paced. Like it didn't really feel 4 hours to me
at all. But personally, I checked out of Zack Snyder's Justice League when Wonder Woman murdered all those people in front of school children.
I understand that. That was like 5 minutes.
Clearly, here's the thing. I actually, if they were different, if there wasn't Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, I think that would have been an incredible movie to watch.
I agree with with you on that. I agree with you on that.
So that's all. But other than the fact that he has no idea who these characters are, I think that would have been a great superhero movie if it was just some random, like The Boys.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it was a great movie in that regard.
I think it's a good movie. I do have problems with how they perceive Superman mainly,
but it's too difficult for me to. I can say that there's some cool things that happen, but when you're telling me that that's Superman and then he's not in the movie, I'm like,
what about Cyborg?
I love Cyborg.
Cyborg amazing.
Cyborg is bad. Cyborg. I'll say this about Cyborg.
What's the most famous version of Cyborg there is?
Probably Teen Titans, honestly.
And not only do they not want to say "booyah" in it,
that's true.
But the actor who's talking about, I was befuddled and treated with racism by all these people, and I believed him. I'm so stupid. I believed him. I actually believed this moron. And it turns out, no, they were saying, hey, bud, you're going to get fired from these movies, or you're never going to, nobody's ever going to work with you again if you go to them about what you're saying, because, that's not how it works. And he's like, well, you're a racist too. Oh my God. Nobody wanted to work with this guy because he's calling everybody a racist. He's an idiot. And I know that everybody sat there and said, oh, Joss Whedon didn't understand. He understood Cyborg because at the end when he goes, booyah. I'm like, that was the only redeeming aspect of Superman with the mustache showing up. That was the only redeeming aspect of that movie.
Besides Booyah, I think they completely fucked up his character in that cut.
Exactly. So I'm gonna say,
I can't get into this because this will just go on forever. I've got to go. Okay, everybody.
Wait. I was talking about rating for Dune. I was talking about my rating.
Yeah, give your rating.
Yeah, after me, I know like the book show, and I know book viewers are gonna hate me over this, but I love this movie. This is a perfection movie, awesome bad. I know book viewers may not like the movie. I get it. And you know what? I respect that. We really disagree with it 100%. But you know what? As a movie fan, this is a great kind of movie. This is an awesome sci-fi movie, epic, badass, amazing. And I'm just excited for more Dune. It's part 3. Because if we go to part 2, then part 3 get more epic. I cannot wait, and I'm really excited. 5 perfection, A+. That's my rating on my review on my channel. And, well, me and Mama, I'll be on my channel as well. You can check that review out. And I think part 3 will be awesome. That's all right. A+. And bye.
Joe Dog, I'm just about to end the stream. What's going on? What did you think of Dune 2?
I thought it was really good. Yeah, I just woke up from my nap, so.
Well, some of us, we had a bunch of people on. We had like 9 people on, and some of us beat the crap out of this movie, and some of us thought it was really good, and some of us were kind of like, I don't know. So
I took my nap yesterday when I was watching Dune.
Yeah, I beat it up a little bit because I like to beat up stuff. Bill didn't see the movie but beat it up. Tevya really, really liked it. Skeptic did not like it. Steven thought it was.
About it. Don't make it look like I beat up a movie I didn't watch.
You beat the crap out of it, man.
It was all right. Okay, it was. I think it's a 6 out of 10 for me.
I think 6 out of 10 for you.
It was a spectacle, but it was also kind of boring at some aspects. It was all right.
Okay.
Yep. The only problem with this movie, in my opinion, is Zendaya. I thought Zendaya looks like a little girl.
I didn't mind her.
I don't like her at all. I'm going to make a video called Chani Sucks. And
I don't like her or Paul, honestly. As the actors, honestly, I think they look too young. But that's just me. Oh, did you know about the? Obviously, I don't care. It's whatever. They can both consent. But Josh Brolin's gay poem about fucking
Timothy. What are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about, but it doesn't matter to me.
Josh Brolin made it a gay poem or some gay poetry about how he wants to I don't know, do stuff to Timothy.
Timothy.
Yeah, I'm not joking. Look it up. So, look up Josh Brolin. I'm gonna get striked on this one, Skeptic. Okay. All right. Well, that is it, everybody. Sorry, Joe Dog, you came in a bit late, but I gotta end it.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Tevya. Thanks, Skeptic.
Anytime.
Thanks,
All
Joe
right,
Dog.
you all have a great one. Thank you.
All
for
right,
your
take it
input.
easy, guys. Everybody, good night.
Yeah.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.